recent casting of Lilo and Stitch actor, who I believe is I believe that she is a native of Hawaii, but she has fair skin. And you had this one person who says, that ain't the nanny I grew up with. She's also said that Hallie's the perfect Ariel. Two completely different. Obviously, look, the controversy for you guys that don't understand it, that's, again, her skin is fair in comparison to the animation. All of a sudden, they care about accuracy again. We've seen this stuff with the comic book stuff that I've been griping about for years, and that when it's advantageous to them, all of a sudden they care so much about the accuracy. But any other time, it doesn't have to be exactly like the source material, or it doesn't have to exactly be like this. It doesn't have to be like that, and you're just a man, baby, you're just griping. But then all of a sudden now they got a problem. Got a race swap. I mean, it could not get more hypocritical than this.
Now listen, Carl, whatever you do, don't stare at him.
I'm staring at him. Is that a man?
Actually, it's 7 men. Parts of them anyway.
I'm back. It's yours truly, the fucking nerd, here to play some more shitty games. Let's pop this fucker in here. What were they thinking?
If I could just forget what happened that night. The pain. Even for a second. This time, it can be different. It has to.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
Well. Look who's back in town.
Hey. Oh, man, it's so good to be fucking back.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome back to the War on Pop Culture. I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
And I'm Special Agent Daner Bobaner.
It's been a bit of a hot minute since we've done a War on Pop Culture episode. And usually we start off the streams with a few jokes here and there, and then we usually dive right into the subject matter. But I want to tell a little story about something that just happened about a couple hours ago. So,
well, first things first. This is the 20th official episode of the War on Pop Culture. Woo! We're big boys now. Now we need an obnoxious dubstep intro. Hit it. Oh, that was terrible. We're never using that again.
I certainly hope not, because that hurt my thumbs. But yeah, so how do I start this off? I got it. So when we get on, or when anybody gets on to talk about some of the subjects that we talk about, whether it be tokenization, whether it be the bastardization of some of our most beloved franchises, or talking about some conspiracy talk. Either way, it's bound to get some people's attentions. People will like it. People will dislike it. Some might be indifferent about it. But that's all relevant because sometimes when you're on the internet, you have to be careful because there are some malicious people out there with some very negative intents, and it's a storm that all content creators have to weather. It's just a part of the mojo of being online, producing the type of content that we produce, that many people produce.
Indeed.
So earlier tonight, a couple hours ago, it was just another Saturday, just getting ready for the stream, cooking some dinner, enjoying the life, right? And something happened. So it started with my father getting some unusual phone calls from our insurance agency, talking about they got into a car crash. Now, keep in mind that we are home when we got this phone call. We had been home for at least 3 hours, give or take. So everything was normal. Everything was fine. My father and my mother were watching The Matrix, and that is a detail that is very important because whether you believe in irony, coincidence, I'll just use this line from The Dark Knight Rises. It's the line that Commissioner Gordon said to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You're a detective now, son. You're not allowed to believe in coincidence.
Ooh.
So we're sitting there, or my parents are sitting there watching the movie. He's getting these phone calls on his phone from the insurance company. Then we start getting some phone calls from the emergency response team, fire department, police, talking about this car crash shit. And then it resulted in a few minutes after that phone call that we get a knock on the door. And this is all very unusual stuff because we haven't got phone calls like this before. Very strange. And all of a sudden, the police and fire department are at our door and asking all these questions. And it was a very stupid situation. My parents were pissed. I was pissed. The first responders were talking about that somebody had called from an iPhone and an Apple Watch that we had been in a car crash. First and foremost, we do not have an iPhone or an Apple Watch. None of that bullshit. We're Android for whatever that's worth. But we don't have any Apple products except for a iPad tablet, which wasn't even with us. It was in the car that is parked right outside. It wasn't even turned on. But no iPhones, no Apple Watches, none of that shit. And the whole situation was just very strange. They just randomly, the first responders, they didn't even come down the road. They were asking these questions and they told us this information. It was all very shady things because they were kind of flip-flopping the story. And what I basically summed it all up to was it's most likely that someone had swatted us in a way. Again, this is something that's happened to content creators, live streamers. It's happened before. It's nothing entirely new, but it is always stressful, very inconvenient. That's my theory. The only thing is, though, is that it's very strange that they would be calling my father's phone and not say my phone. But regardless, it happened. The cops showed up 15 minutes after the fire department left, which was also very strange. Because they said the cops were on their way right now, so they must have been very late, taking their sweet ass time getting there. Either way, that's what happened. And
probably raiding a donut shop
or whatever. But the reason I bring that up is because sometimes people they get irritated or they get upset when someone is wrestling the cage, disturbing the status quo, so to speak. But we are here regardless because we are not going to let something like that slow us down. We're here to tell the truth. We're here to give our honest thoughts on these subjects and the criteria of which they reside in. We're here to talk about so many wonderful things in pop culture today.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I guess wonderful is a matter of perspective, right? Because this stuff is anything but wonderful. So first and foremost, if you were watching the intro, another tokenization, well, a tokenization, and I use that term loosely because after Disney got through bastardizing their little classics,
they're not even done. Let's see. What have they checked off? Well, they're about to do Little Mermaid is coming, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. I know that there's talk about. I mean, Snow ethnically ambiguous. Now, that's her name now. I know they're planning on doing the Hunchback and Hercules, and it's like, and now we're hearing about Lilo and Stitch, and now there's complaints about whitewashing or some shit.
That's right. And the thing is, though, is that this isn't like the typical tokenization complaints where it's like, oh, well, it turns out that it's okay to take a white character and turn them into a non-white version. This time it's the other way around, where people are complaining that the actress isn't dark enough.
She's not an island native.
But she is. From what I've heard, the actress is Hawaiian. And
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch takes place in Hawaii.
So
the inconsistencies. Look,
who's the racist here now?
Here's the thing. Okay, we already understand how these people operate, right?
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about the source material first and foremost. That's why they're so easily able to say, "Oh yeah, let's take out that Snow White and place her with Snow." How did you say it?
Ethnically ambiguous.
There you go. But then when it happens the other way around, suddenly it's, oh, well, this isn't right. This isn't the character I remember from the animated movie. But the difference is you have somebody who's actually ethnically proportionate to the source material.
The little girl that's playing Lilo.
She's Hawaiian. But she's not dark enough.
Like, what does that say about you if you're complaining that, oh, well, she's not dark enough? What's that word? Starts with letter R. Actually, there's two of them.
Retarded or racist.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo. You win a Pepsi.
Oh, fuck that. Oh, also, speaking of live action movies, they're thinking of redoing Moana and
oh yeah,
Peter Pan and Wendy.
Well,
yeah,
why Moana
last time?
Yeah, but why Moana? Like that movie's not even 10 years old yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it just shows that it's what
creatively bankrupt.
Yes, we've all been saying it. Every content creator that's been talking about this shit, we've had to use the same terminology because that's exactly what it is. They are getting so desperate for cash, they're remaking shit that's not even that old.
Right? Like, would you be surprised if the next day, like, I don't know, 2 weeks from now, we get an announcement they're just going to do a live action remake of Frozen?
Oh God!
There's like, and I think that would be their way because Frozen was like one of their highest grossing movies ever. Because a certain other movie came along and said, "Fuck you, Disney! I made more money than you ever."
Let me guess.
It's a me. No, Mario.
Oh,
Zootopia's Disney.
Yeah. Anyway. Also, God damn it! I had my train of thought. What was it? Fuck! Lost my train of thought.
I usually do that.
You good over there, Carter?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to remember what the fuck I was saying. Though I had a good point, though. Fuck. Anyway, it'll come back.
Okay. So, this is no surprise. We already know exactly how these people operate, and it was only a matter of time. And to be honest, I had heard that they were going to be doing a live-action Lilo and Stitch, but I really didn't care too much. I mean, like, I enjoyed Lilo and Stitch as a kid, but I hadn't been following it as I got older. It's just one of those things that it came and went. It was a nice little memory. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. It was pretty good. Not bad. And then now they dig up the corpse, so to speak, later. It seems to be a common trend, though, don't you think? I mean, they've been doing this for a while, digging up old franchises. Very few were actual hits. More of them were misses. Obviously, a big hit being Top Gun Maverick. Like right off the bat, that was a fantastic sequel. But Disney, they can't seem to stop with their shit. I mean, if it's not the layoffs, people being fired from the different aspects of Disney, certain assets being liquidated, the fact that they're bringing back Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Miss Marvel in what was supposed to be a sequel to Captain Marvel has now become a shared movie, And I did watch parts of the trailer. It looks utterly retarded. And of course, because
Looks cheap as hell.
and of course the shill media corporations, bless
Rolling Stone.
their black hearts, right?
Mm.
The typical angry nerds are angry at the movie. It's like,
Here we go again. It's like fucking clockwork with this shit. It's like,
Hey, man, you're all just misogynistic woman haters. Just a minute. You support the patriarchy. You don't want to see strong women and strong roles for role models for little girls.
Dude,
that's what's going on with this shit.
Dude,
That's what's going on. This is their marketing strategy. It doesn't work. Why are we still doing this? This isn't 2016 anymore. It didn't work for Ghostbusters. Why are we still doing this?
And it didn't work for Charlie's Angels either.
Oh my God.
Now remember, Elizabeth Banks went on her soapbox and said that, basically this movie isn't for you. Like Brie Larson said, about A Wrinkle in Time. What did she say? I don't care what some 40-year-old white dude has to say about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. Well, it turns out that made for someone or not, people like to go see movies. Even if the movie features somebody that doesn't look like them. They will still go and watch said movies. After all, we owe it to Blade for the fact that we have probably the MCU. The MCU owes it to Blade being so popular with the fans. They're like, you know what? We got to make more of these movies. Spider-Man, the X-Men.
The Hulk.
The Hulk. I mean,
Fantastic Four.
Wow. Well, that was those are some pretty good examples, though.
But they still exist because of Blade.
Yeah.
And all of that leads to the bridge that was the better days of the MCU, where people were actually caring about the source material.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I did not. I've seen those clips of the trailer. It's like, oh my fucking God. It's like Disney has all this money, all these tools at their disposal, yet they can't put their money where their fucking mouth is anymore, because look at the effects that you see in their trailers now. Or not just trailers, even the movies in the MCU or the MCU have come out as of late. It's like, why do these effects look so fucking terrible? This is like watching Mortal Kombat 1995 all over again.
Oh,
except it's 2023. That's the plot twist. It looks just as bad as the 90s, yet it's in the future.
And bigger budgets and somehow gotten worse. I mean, I've even gone on record to say this, or I'm going to go on record to say this. Iron Man's suit has gotten worse in the special effects department with every movie.
Nanotech.
Like,
interesting concept, but not good.
The nanotech, I got tired of that so fucking quickly. Like, Iron Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, the fucking Power Rangers, it's like, okay, enough.
Easy with the nano.
Well, I mean, shit. We saw that in another Shane Black produced film, Nanotech. Allow me, please.
Oh, good. You finally get to join the club.
Oh no, the reserve's depleted.
Oh, that reminds. I remember.
I don't know where it's at. Oh wait, here it is.
Now I remember what I was going to say. The only live action Frozen I'll ever accept is the one from the TV show Once Upon a Time. That's the only show I'll consider live action.
Huh?
You don't understand it. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, join the club. We've got jackets.
Hey.
Oh, you're right.
Want to watch some shitty movies? Anyway. But yeah, so
that's the sound it will make. It will make that fucking whiny predator sound when he gets slammed on the car.
Indeed. Oh yeah, so I agree though. The nanotech shit for nano suits.
Yeah.
Whether it be exactly nanotech or some variation of the term.
It's just lazy.
Really bad writing.
Well, and even you got to think about it from the special effects department. Is that all they're going to do is just have actors in mocap suits and then just, okay, computer people, just do your thing?
But you know what? I was hearing, seeing articles, people talk about it, that some of the special effects department people were under some very strenuous work conditions. Like, it wasn't very pleasant working at Disney doing some of these special effects. That
Really?
lots of
never would've
time
guessed.
crunches, lots of deadlines that are complete BS. You know what though? I can believe it because in the hype running up to Star Wars: The Force Awakens, they being Disney Lucasfilm decided to um, commission, you could say, EA to make to do their own version of Star Wars Battlefront. And I remember when it first came out, before it came out, I was super excited because it was because of the trailers. The trailers were really good leading up, and it was about the original trilogy. That was the hook. That okay, we're getting a Battlefront game. It's going to be the original trilogy, which was a red flag though, because I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. The original Battlefront had both eras.
Yeah.
And this one was only focusing on the original trilogy. So what was going on? Let me just really quick answer this. Carter, really? The Wilhelm scream? My uncle's in the chat. I have no idea. He's doing whatever, uncle. So you'll have to report back later. Anyway, so the hype leading up to that game, and then when the game was released, first off, people were immediately pointing out the fact that okay, there's not many game modes. There's no single player mode. The maps were decent, but no extra game modes, no prequel era, only like one or what was it? Only 2 heroes? No, there were 6 heroes, I think, but it was bad. Like it was bare bones. And what I had heard was that they were rushing EA because they wanted the game to come out before The Force Awakens to capitalize on the hype. And so much so that they offered a bonus map for free for people who pre-ordered to play on the Jakku map. Turns out that Jakku didn't come out when the game came out for those pre-order bonuses. It came out months later, like closer to the movie's release, which I guess makes sense, except for the fact that you marketed a pre-order bonus to be on release. Maybe it's just bad wording from their promotion department. I don't really know. And it doesn't really matter because the game was garbage. The controls were average at best. The only good thing I would say was that some of the models looked pretty good. And then the maps, from a visual standpoint, the maps look pretty good. And that's the thing. That seems to be like a common trend. Is like, oh, you know what? These movies were absolute shit, but some of their visuals are really nice. You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't they be? I mean, obviously we've come a long ways in special effects, but as George Lucas once said, a special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sequel trilogy in a nutshell. And yes, you can partially say about the prequels if you want. I mean, it's not entirely wrong, but
at the same time, those movies were entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes. They felt like Star Wars despite their flaws. And like, even if I go through all, I guess, 11 movies, 11, Jesus Christ, at least even with the prequels, I could still say, what's my favorite scene that has no action? And what's my favorite action scene? I could at least do that in those movies, but in the sequel trilogy, I'm just kind of, I seriously can't pick one. The action is just terrible because the writing sucks. There's so many moments that make no sense. Disable their speeders. They're not on speeders. They're on horses. Do a barrel roll.
Yeah, do a barrel roll. Or
don't they have gravity stabilizers?
Yeah.
I mean, it's to prevent them because how many starships have we seen in Star Wars that they do the spinning? That's a neat trick. And people are still sitting in their seats without flying out. Gravity stabilizers. You know, I don't know the exact term, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with gravity stabilizers.
Yeah, and that actually helped really suspend your disbelief. Like they're in the Millennium Falcon and they're in space. Like how are they still walking around on their 2 feet, not just like
floating
the
astronauts?
Around.
Right. And so I guess that's a pretty good segue into one of tonight's subjects. I was gonna save it for later, but fuck it, we're here. Ray Palpatine. Oh, I mean, Ray Skywalker. No, fuck that shit. It's Ray Palpatine.
Yeah.
There was apparently a leaked image that was shown from Star Wars Celebration in wherever they were in Europe, and it shows a pregnant Rey, and it's a little strange. It's a little strange because aside from the fact that Rey's coming back, they're really going to go down this path with the sequel. Show it to us, Danner.
What?
Hey, that's for burying my lightsaber in sand, you stupid bitch.
What was she thinking? That's a real image? Like, this is actually what they're going with?
Apparently. Now, it could, because
Why?
it looked like concept art. It didn't look like a shot from a movie.
You know what it fucking looks like, though? It looks like a Photoshop version. It's like someone took, like, Padme from Revenge of the Sith on Mustafar, cropped it a bit, and put fucking Daisy Ridley's head on her body. That's what it fucking looks like.
Here's the point, though. They're bringing Rey back, their flagship character, the character that many people...
Self-insert for Kathleen Kennedy.
That's a good point.
The fucking Mary Sue.
Another good point. They're bringing her back. But the strangest part is not the fact that they brought her back. It's that they brought her back, or are bringing her back, and she's pregnant.
She's knocked up.
Now, there's no real clue. And again, this is all hinging on if that image they showed was real. Now, in all fairness, who exactly would fake an image like that? I mean, there's plenty of people that would. You can't discredit that option. With that said, you know how many Reylo fans are probably creaming their pants right now?
Oh, god damn it.
Because I'm hearing rumors here. Again, they're rumors that Rey is carrying the child of Kylo. And you're wondering, well, how? They didn't exactly do the do. Well, it's simple. The dark side of the Force is the pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
I hope they're not trying to go there, like with...
Well, that's what I'm thinking, though. That's because...
Like, virgin birth? Like Anakin?
Well, not exactly. Because unlike the theory that it was actually Darth Plagueis or Palpatine that created Anakin...
Plagueis. It was definitely Plagueis.
Las Plagas.
Not Las Plagas, you bastard. Anyway, the theory is that the Force ghost of Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, did the impregnation. Now, if you think about it, the last time we saw that bastard alive was on Exegol. One of the most retarded names I've heard for a planet or half planet or whatever the hell it was.
What?
Yeah, not to mention an entire fleet of Star Destroyers and the new TIE fighters that look like fucking Doritos. Like, what the fuck is that shit?
Regardless, it was at some point there, or maybe even after, where the Force ghost of Ben impregnated Rey. And the only thing that I can think of is that one scene in Ghostbusters where the ghost lady was hovering over Rey.
No, actually, there was another. Actually,
think about it. Both characters named Rey interacting with a ghost.
But that was a dream.
Yeah, that was like a literal perverted wet dream, though. Or you know what it could have? It reminded me. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that scene in a Scary Movie 2 with the ghost. Literally, spoilers. There's a rape scene involving a ghost, like knocking up a chick.
It wasn't rape though. She consented.
Yeah, she consented.
She liked it.
Yeah, she literally got boo. Yeah, she literally had fun with her boo.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, so Rey coming back, Rey being pregnant, and apparently Rey's going to be rebuilding the Jedi Order. Now, here's the even more interesting part, though. The more interesting part is apparently this movie is going to take place 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. And the only thing I'm thinking about is, okay, how did it happen? As in, how is it that Rey got pregnant? Is it actually the ghost of Ben Solo, or was it maybe Finn? Though I can't imagine it would be Finn, because last I checked, John Boyega wanted to distance himself from Star Wars as much as possible. A very smart move.
Like it.
A smart move considering what exactly happened with him and his character. You want to talk about something that really angers me? Is that Finn had a really interesting arc developing. A stormtrooper gone Jedi. I haven't really seen that before. Maybe in the expanded universe comics we saw it, but just having that idea, right? Where somebody defies the Empire. And yes, I'm calling them the Empire because the First Order is retarded and they were the Empire. The Empire never died, considering that Snoke was Palpatine the whole time. So, Empire.
I might counter that just a bit, because Kyle Katarn did start as a mercenary working for the Empire. Then he joined the Rebels, became a mercenary for them, and then he went on to sort of learn the ways of the Force as he went along, and become a Jedi to defeat Jarek and save the Valley of the Jedi.
Also,
well,
15 years.
In that case, then it's just re-solidifying what we already know, which is that Disney had been mooching off of the expanded universe material, even though Kathleen Kennedy said, "Oh, we didn't have any kind of source material when making the sequels." Well, yeah, exactly. Well, bullshit, because one of your characters is quite literally the bastardization of Jason Solo.
Right.
Nobody really knows that, and if you don't, then I don't entirely blame you. But you know what? I'll take Jason Solo over Kylo Ren. But you know what? I do feel kind of bad for Adam Driver, because he's not a bad actor.
Yeah,
he's a good actor.
And if handed a better script, he could have been a good Jason Solo type. And you know what? Even if you don't directly adapt the source material, but you at least pay respect. And that's the biggest thing. Paying respect to the source material, because they didn't. Okay? They took from somebody else's work and they mutated it. And that's actually two, by the way, because they bastardized George Lucas's work. And then they bastardized the work of all the people that were involved with the expanded universe. Because look, Palpatine coming back from the dead, or never being dead in the first place per se, after Return of the Jedi, isn't a new concept. It was literally in Shadows of the Empire, where they had clones of Palpatine and he transferred his Force essence or whatever. So it's not exactly new. It's just you give us this big villain in Snoke, and then you give us Rian Johnson, who gives the biggest middle finger you could possibly give. And it's like, man, people still respect this guy? It's like, oh, well, you don't like my movie. You're a man baby, and your Snoke theory sucks. It's like, okay, well, I won't go watch your movies. Not that you would give a shit, but hey, you know what? I guess they might hurt your planned trilogy, Ryan, right?
Oh. How? Was it worth it?
Yeah. To be honest, though, was it worth it? And Kathleen Kennedy saying, "Oh, we didn't have any source material." Oh, really?
You lying bitch!
I guess you're just going to pop out that soundboard the whole time, aren't you?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck's sakes. But now, I didn't like Snoke to begin with. I'll be honest. I didn't like him, especially in The Last Jedi. It's like, this is our main villain? He kind of sucks.
Here's the thing. When I saw him in Force Awakens, I was intrigued. I'm not going to lie. Because he was an ominous, shadowy figure. He had a very ominous voice. Dude, it's freaking Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis, you can't really go wrong with him necessarily.
No.
Necessarily. I was intrigued, and I think many people were intrigued with Force Awakens until you realize that it was a carbon copy paste of A New Hope with a new coat of paint and updated for the modern audience.
Same dog, same tricks.
Bull fucking shit.
And the tricks suck.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about the fucking design of Snoke. I know it's supposed to be a clone of Palpatine, but do you know what the motherfucker
No,
looks
he wasn't
like?
though. He wasn't a clone of
wasn't.
Palpatine. He was just a creation, a created fucking being that had no relevance. There was no relevance. Oh yeah, Snoke was around when the Empire was around. Yeah, he sure
Bullshit.
as hell was, because he was he was the one pulling the strings the whole time. He was Palpatine. They could have done Plagueis. That's the thing. If you were going to bring back the Empire, I might have forgiven it if you would have revealed to us that it was Darth Plagueis this whole time. And then having Rey as Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter, it would have been extra interesting because it would have been a repeat of what happened before, where it was Plagueis that first seduced Palpatine in the first place, and then now he's doing it again with another Palpatine. It would have been an interesting character arc dynamic. It would have been interesting, but they didn't go with that. They decided, oh yeah, we're gonna have Rey as Palpatine's granddaughter. Don't you worry. But it's still Palpatine the whole time.
Yeah, but also, as I was saying, though, the look for Snoke, though, what the fuck is that, though? You know what he fucking looks like, though? He looks like the spokesperson for those quit smoking ads. You know, the one when people smoke so much that their face looks like they're having like a stroke, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's what it fucking looks like, though. It looked like he'd been smoking too much. Apparently, he changed his name to from Smoke to Snoke because that's what he fucking looks like, though. Or he snorted a shitload of coke, though.
But even the whole idea of bringing back Palpatine to begin with, I mean, even with what you're saying with Shadows of the Empire, it's like, yeah, but is there just a cringy throwaway line where someone literally just says, somehow Palpatine returned? Like, that is just some of the worst writing I have ever seen in Star Wars. Or not even just Star Wars, like any movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet,
But that's the state of Disney now. The writing is gone. It's all about capitalizing on nostalgia with all these fucking different franchises they have at their disposal now, from Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, and even Fox now.
yeah. I mean, let's not even forget to mention the Mandalorian.
Oh, god damn it.
The fucking flagship series that was supposed to save Star Wars. I was a part of that train for a bit where it was the idea that the Mandalorian was going to be the start of telling a new story, a new sequel trilogy. First of all, that ship has been sailed because with the passing of Carrie Fisher, you weren't going to get our big OG3 back. Mm-mm. Of course, they could do some digital de-aging and face swap bullshit, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. No, it's not. And just as a reminder, for those of you somehow that are still giving Disney a chance, which if you still are, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
The ship has sunk. You're at the very last tip. You know, if a ship is sinking like this, you're at the very last tip. Your feet are touching
at the stern.
water.
You are literally over the railing of the stern and you're sinking. And speaking of owning Fox, though, I was on Facebook the other day and I saw like the Disney store, on my feed though. And guess what I saw? Titanic merchandise, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this on the Disney? Why is this in the Disney store? And then I realized, oh shit, Fox is owned by Disney, and so that's okay though. But why the fuck would that be in there? No.
Is it okay though?
No, it's not.
Is it okay when Disney runs this big ass monopoly on way too many properties and they have nothing to give us new? And even when they do, it doesn't do well because they don't market it. Like, look at Strange World. Like, did anyone even know what the fuck that even was until the week it was coming out? And again, I know we talked about this before, but they didn't market it because, they wanted to get to China. And, well, we're just marketing this movie based on diversity because that's all we have left to do. We don't have characters that are three-dimensional. They're all flat because that's all they base characters on anymore. It's always got to be the most simple face value, check off the fucking diversity points, which is really, it's not diversity, it's tokenism.
Yeah, I mean, when they race swap, gender swap, sexuality swap any characters, that's tokenization. As you guys read, I mean, look, you just go to Eric July. He's the one that basically coined the term, as I've said before. He is the man when it comes to that shit. He has been watching this shit for a very long time. He, like many people, are pissed off about it, and rightfully so, because you can't sit there and say that, oh, you know what, it's perfectly legit or legitimate to race swap a character for the sake of updating the movie for a modern audience, or because it was the best actor for the job. Okay, how many times have we heard that bullshit? And then when it comes to animation, when they do tokenization there, that best actor for the job isn't fucking there anymore. Because how many voice actors voiced white characters when they were not white themselves?
Exactly.
As long as there is a very big difference between live action and animation.
Yeah.
Because as long as you, for voice acting, as long as you can sound like the character with the mannerisms and all that shit, right?
Tone of the show as well. That's also something that matters, because especially if you're going for something like comedy, look at something like Samurai Jack, a Japanese character voiced by a black man,
right?
And it was done well.
Or a white guy voicing a black guy in Family Guy.
Oh, that's nasty.
And
no.
They swapped him to give to a guy, a black actor who had been doing Cleveland's voice before.
Oh, I've heard of him.
But here's the thing: the one problem, just as a quick side note, the one problem though is that the new Cleveland, he sounds like the old Cleveland, but the way that, and maybe it's just because the Family Guy actors are getting older. Maybe that's what it is, but it's a combination of that and that Family Guy. Just it's not as funny anymore. The stories just aren't really connecting as much. They're just not funny. Like, I'm literally going back and watching the first 3 seasons of Family Guy because they had faster, quirky dialogue and the jokes were there. Like the one where Peter was he was in church drinking from the chalice and he was like, "Oh man, is this really the blood of Christ?" Yeah. Oh man, this guy must have been wasted 24 hours a day, huh? I mean, it was funny shit.
Yep.
Or that the one episode Road to Rhode Island with them working on their relationship.
Yes.
Lois, our love cannot be measured in nipples and dimes. Nickels and boobs. Money.
I love that episode. I was watching that one recently. But anyway, so it's the tokenization thing. It irritates me because they won't fucking stop. And then with this Lilo and Stitch casting and people complaining that the actress isn't dark enough, I mean, it's no surprise. We really shouldn't be surprised by any of this because it's par for the course.
Like, these are the same people who say, we're fighting racism. How are you doing that? Like, what you're doing is so unproductive by saying, oh, well, you're not dark enough. Fuck you. You know what? When you say we're the toxic fans, no, you are. You are the one who is bullying someone because, oh well, you're too light skinned for the role. Fuck you. Even if they're of that, they are a Hawaiian native. What does that say about you as a person when that's all you're fucking obsessed with? You just want to check off those diversity points or tokenism points, as I would call them, because that's all you care about. You see skin color, you see fucking gender, you see sexuality. Yeah, what you pretend you support it, but you actually don't. You just like to pretend you do. It's a performative thing for you, so you can show it off to all your other moronic friends on your fucking Twitter, your Tumblr, wherever the fuck you're using, and say, "Hey, everyone, I'm such a morally correct person." No, you're not. You got it all backwards, and you're fucked.
Here's the thing, and we really have to boil down the arguments as much as you can so that not only are you being consistent to yourself, but being consistent to your audience. When we get on here and we talk about it, when we continuously talk about it, when we repeat ourselves with the same things that, we hate the tokenization, we hate what's going on. We are the people that were there for those characters when everyone else was taking a shit on them. When nerd culture was considered something childish and that's something only fat, overweight, neckbeard shit people would do, living in their
I
mother's
fucking
basement.
hate that term.
Yeah,
But now,
or have
all
like
of a
list.
sudden, with the media being much more popular, much more successful, oh, well, now I'm a superhero fan too. You're not, though. You're just getting on the bandwagon because it's the most popular thing right now. But we were there first, and you're calling us toxic. That's not how this shit works. And the thing is, when you boil down this tokenization argument,
Yeah.
it's soulless. There is no meaning. There is nothing to the arguments other than this obsession with race. Go ahead. I had a point, but I can't remember.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. If that's all it's boiling down to, I mean, like, look, every time they try and say like, oh, nerd culture has just been such an exclusive club. Well, no, we're not an exclusive club. Anyone can join the nerd culture and become a fan of something all they want. But Jesus Christ, stop bringing your politics, all your pseudo-political arguments that have clouded your mind because you see everything through an ideological lens, and that's all you fucking see. That's not what we see. We see entertainment. We see well-rounded stories with really well fleshed out characters that we connect with, that we want to look up to. Like, we can't just keep discarding these straight white male characters that were heroes simply because that doesn't fit the fucking race norm or whatever the fuck it is you're arguing anymore. Because we, too, even as young lads, like young kids too, they need heroes to look up to. And even when they try to give us another iteration of character, tokenization, what do they base their characters on? Their race, their sexuality, their gender. That's all they do. It's bad writing. And then they use the whole, you're just a racist, you're just a sexist, you're a homophobe. They use that as their shield. It's so fucking stupidly counterproductive, and I am tired of it.
Here's the thing. You're, first of all, spot on, 100%. They love to inject their political beliefs onto these characters. They want to use the characters, the stories, as a platform, a launching platform to spew their ideology, to legitimize their own beliefs. They're using other characters, other material to legitimize themselves instead of creating new characters to push whatever they're going to push. But here's the thing. They have done it. Strange Worlds was exactly that. Strange Worlds, to my knowledge, wasn't based off of anything. There wasn't any kind of tokenization of characters. It was a new story.
Mm-hmm.
And they had all their diversity, all their inclusion. Except it fucking failed, didn't it? The movie underperformed at the box office. They cried racism, sexism, LGBTQ phobia. Oh, you don't like seeing gay characters. First of all, you were marketing the shit out of this as being diverse and inclusive. And that's where a lot of Marvel projects. Oh, this is the first woman of color leading a Marvel film. Well, this is the first Asian man of color leading a Marvel film.
It's all Disney. And every time it's like, oh, and this will feature an LGBT kiss. It's like, who cares? It happens between characters that we don't even care about.
I mean, like, Rise of Skywalker is the most hilarious example.
I know. I mean, I did laugh in the theater. Like,
it's even more hilarious because they cut the scene in different countries. It was so
I wonder why
easy for them to snip out. It's like they stand there and they say that they're all for this, for the justice, right? They're all for the message. The message, right? As the Critical
message.
Says. But they are ready to cut it at the first sign of trouble. Now you have in this country, not even just this country, it's Western civilization. You notice that a lot of this stuff isn't being pushed, or it's even still being frowned upon in other countries. Ask yourself why. First of all, I don't give a shit about what your sexual orientation is. And what I mean is that I don't like or dislike per se. I'm of the view that you are a human being like everyone else. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Leave me the fuck out of it. At the same time, understand this, that it is not a part of the norm per se, in that there are people that still have a certain view on it, and they won't be okay with it. And you have to accept that. And you also have to accept that you won't be changing these people's minds. The beautiful part is there are plenty of people out there that will support alternate lifestyles. Funny enough, it's in a state that looks like a third world country, and
California?
that's saying a lot.
I was going to say
It's
Nebraska.
just here's the thing: you have to understand that there's always risk and reward with whatever you do, and especially if you're being open about your sexual orientation of all things. If you go out into the public, whether it be the actual public or online, and you start talking about your sexuality, you start talking about who you're sleeping with, you're going to get pushback. And it's not exclusive to your sexuality, or your race, or your gender. It's with anything. We've done it here in War and Pop Culture. For example, She-Hulk. The She-Hulk review, that one episode that I reviewed, had over 1,000 views. And you had all kinds of people saying good things, bad things, hilarious things. It's par for the course when you're online. Or being out in public at all. When you're open about your opinions, you have to expect some pushback. You're going to have people that are going to support you. And you're going to have other people that are going to hate you. You have to accept that. Otherwise, just get off the damn platform. Because if you are worried about the most illogical, retarded comment saying, you're wrong, I disagree, or you're a fucking loser, get off the platform. If you're going to be bothered by those little things to the point where it cripples your ability to get onto your platform and speak your mind, then maybe you shouldn't be on the platform in the first place.
Exactly.
Gravitate towards people who are going to support you. It happens all the time. You just got to be able to handle the damage that's incoming. Otherwise, if you can't, then just step to the side. Come back at a later date when you feel that you're ready to do it. Do whatever you got to do. That's what we're doing here. So when we criticize tokenization, for example, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we've criticized. And thank God for Eric July, because you have a black man, and there's plenty of guys out there like him that are thinking this way. It's just a matter of getting them to speak their minds and just to show that, oh, this isn't just like white people complaining about it, right? So they can't use that. Of course, they're going to use it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have people that are going to call non-white people Uncle Toms, for example. I love this term because you literally have a black man going on saying that fuck your tokenization. Why don't you create some original black characters, for example, instead of giving them sloppy seconds of white characters? Oh, you're just a self-hating black man. So it right there, you understand that it's not about the race. It's about the ideology. It's your views, what you believe, what you think about a subject. That's what they actually give a shit about. You could be a gay man and say, I don't agree with the transgender shit. I don't agree with the drag queen shit. And they'll say, oh, you're just a self-hating gay man. It happens. It happens a lot more than people realize, but we don't usually hear these stories because either people don't want to talk about it.
Doesn't fit the narrative that they're trying to push. They just want to wait till the person who thinks differently than them, like in terms of those basic things, like being a straight man. If a straight man disagrees, then we could start spinning that narrative, because that's what they'll do. It's all divide and conquer.
Yeah, I have a thing to add to this war in pop culture, even though it's not in the thumbnail, but I would like to bring it up.
Please do.
Okay, so remember when Danner said about like true fans and toxic fans?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give you an example. Harry Potter, the Harry Potter franchise, and hear me out. Don't interrupt me. I have a point. Growing up, I have a short story. Growing up, short story. Pun intended. Anyway, growing up, when I was little, I couldn't sleep at night. So my mother, she had the first 4 Harry Potter books, and she read it to me and my sister, and she'd do the voices and stuff, and we'd probably just fall asleep, though. And then when the movie came out, though, I was super excited, though, Hell, I even got like fucking dork glasses, and I even fucking drew a lightning bolt on my forehead because I was in love with this franchise. And then, and I was excited though. Even when the release of the next book, I was so fucking excited. I even had the toys, I had the posters, I even had some fucking board games. I even had a few Harry Potter Lego sets growing up though. And people ridiculed me thinking, you're just a nerd, you're just a dork, stuff like that though. But apparently it came back to bite him in the ass though until years later. Like, it's very popular. Let's jump on this bandwagon, especially with fucking Fantastic Beasts though. And don't even get me started on what the fuck is going on right now. Fucking HBO Max. You motherfuckers. You had the audacity. No, not the audacity. The fucking balls to greenlight a Harry Potter TV show based off of the books, though, which become film adaptations, but with a new younger cast and characters. To be honest, though, like the angry video game nerd, what were they thinking? And let me tell you something. Emma Watson, she's opposed to the idea. She doesn't like it, and it's just like, why? Why are you doing this? Are you really that fucking bankrupt, though? Like, basically, the Harry Potter franchise and Warner Brothers, it's fucking sinking faster than Titanic, though. Because, and let me tell you something, though. I was very disappointed in the third Fantastic Beasts franchise. There were supposed to be 5 movies. 5. We only got 3. You know why? Because of the whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp controversy trial. So basically, Warner Brothers and HBO Max are fucking dumbasses. You had the biggest regret was firing Johnny Depp and let Matt Milkins take over as Grindelwald. To be honest, though, no offense to the guy, you're a good Bond villain. To be honest, you may be a good actor, but you should stick to being a Bond villain and just eating people. Okay? Johnny Depp was made for that fucking role. And even protagonist Newt Scamander, aka Eddie Redmayne, said this movie is shit. Though I don't disagree with him. It's shit though because and it's fucking hypocritical because you fire someone who's being accused of wife beating, and yet you keep the fucking bitch who lied about it in court under oath. If you all remember that case, I fucking remember it. I had a shitload of fucking words to say about that. Do you still have her along with that fucking common criminal Ezra Miller or the wannabe Flash? You still have those 2 dipshits? No. Not to mention when this whole thing came out though, like the whole thing about Grindelwald. I meant not Grindelwald, Depp and the Heard case. I was very disappointed though. I'm like, you lying bitch. I wanted to go into that courtroom and just fucking go John Wilkes Booth on her ass though. 6 Semper Tyrannis. And I was just so pissed. And then they still had the audacity to recast and film it. No. If I was the head of the studio, I would say shut it down or put it on hiatus until we get this whole thing figured out. And if Johnny Depp is guilty, then we'll recast him. But if he's not, Amber Heard, you're fucking fired. Get your shit. Get the fuck out of the studio. I would fucking blacklist her. And then you're retelling a beloved franchise whose writer, who I sort of looked up to, but now I'm fucking regretting it though. Like a fucking communist.
Here's the thing. First and foremost, she's a raging leftist. Like,
yeah.
The hilarious part is that people are attacking her because she said that trans women aren't real women, which is a true statement. But here's the thing. I'm not going to go to bat for her for the simple reason that on any other given day, when it's not talking about women being real women, she'll stab your ass in the back on any other political subject, pretty much. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, don't worry, JK, I got your back.
No.
I mean, she's not entirely wrong though. Because
that's the thing. It's just I'm not going to go to bat for her. I'm going to sit back and let these people eat each other because that's what's going to happen. When you get 2 different communities under the same identity, politics, or political banner, right? So, for example, You have the hardcore feminists that don't like men. Then you get the transgender community. Once their common enemy, the straight white Republican Trump supporter people are gone, right? Who's going to be left?
Both of them.
Theoretically.
But
They'll.
Oh no, continue.
They will inevitably clash because they are both fundamentally different. One of them doesn't like men, which means they will acknowledge the biological reality that a transgender woman is not an actual woman, but it is a man who has committed self-genital mutilation and hormone blockers and hormone replacement therapy to look and act more feminine. But it is still a man or a male, because I can't really call someone who does that shit a man, because, I mean, cutting off your manhood, looking more feminine, it's not really what a man would do. You remember the freaking Gillette commercials? It's like the best a man can get or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they decide to shoot themselves in the dick with that stupid commercial of theirs.
He's like, whoa. You remember the black guy with the white guy? Guy's like, looking at the chick, like, whoa, hey.
Nah. The only good thing that come out of that were the parodies. But even with, like, I was actually saying this to my older brother earlier because he was talking. I mean, he was watching like Matt Walsh earlier, talking about that. Well, that thing is in our thumbnail. But I even said with this whole, like, with all these men taking all this shit to become basically more like women, where are these hardcore feminists that are all about empowering women where we really need them now? Like, why aren't you speaking out against this shit? They are taking everything away from you. They are competing in your sports, knocking you down. Ladies. You're getting your shit stripped away by people pretending to be you.
And the hilarious part,
not just conforming to your ideology, but they are trying to be like you with, like you said, genital mutilation and hormone blockers.
There's a lot too that we're going to unpack, but I did want to get back to Carter's subject really quick. I have a theory about what's going to happen with this Harry Potter adaptation. There's going to be lots of tokenization.
No
totally.
shit.
It's going to be hilarious to see. They're going to race swap. They'll probably race swap Ron. I can see them race swapping Ron.
He's a ginger. Of course he's going to be. Of course they're going to be gender swap. They always go for the gingers.
It's that red
It's always the gingers because they have no soul.
So now they want to replace them with someone that theoretically has a soul. Maybe it's a very black soul, a dark soul.
Oh,
hey, dark soul.
Yeah. Oh, or basically, like, let me give you an example of like, not to mention, I heard on Twitter, I forgot what it was though, don't know the source though, but someone said that if you're a white person and then you use a GIF involving black people, you are basically digital race swapping. Oh, fuck them.
Oh no, not digital race swapping. It's digital blackface. Yes, that's hilarious. Blackface. And again, these are first world problems, first and foremost. Most of what we're talking about is first world problems, though I would say that the tokenization thing, and not just the tokenization, but the transsexual, transgender shit, the drag queen shit, all of it is becoming worldwide problems very slowly, because even in places where you think it wouldn't really be much of a problem, it's becoming a problem. It's affecting different aspects of our culture. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that the tokenization, and particularly when the race swapping white characters to give us non-white versions, I think is an attack on white people. And it goes far beyond just them being race swapped, like white characters being race swapped, but it's also when you have media corporations, Hollywood actors, producers, directors coming out and bashing on white people, talking about white privilege and the sins of white people because of slavery. And I don't think I didn't show this video on War and Pop Culture because it wasn't out yet, but there was a video of this white family in New York on the subway getting yelled at by this black guy, and it was bad. And I would love to pull it up. I don't have it with me right now, but just Google it, research it, whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Basically, towards the end, first of all, it's a mother, father, and a toddler, and he's yelling at them, saying that by the time the baby reaches that guy's age, he's going to be ugly and shit. And then by the end, he said, "I'm Black American. I'm above you." Here's the thing. There was a cartoonist recently, like I want to say within the past couple months, a white guy. He was very famous. He had a lot of his comics on newspapers and stuff. The name escapes me, but he put out a.
Is it the guy who did Dilbert?
I think so. So he put out a video where he was talking about a poll that was put up about people saying, "Is it okay to be white?" And a good majority of like 40% on the poll saying that it wasn't okay, or that it was. There were three options. It was either yes, it's okay, no, I'm not sure if it is, and then straight up, no, it's not okay. And the mere fact that over 40% of people either said it wasn't okay or wasn't sure, it's very telling. And the thing is that you have the media that is pushing this race shit. That's the first thing. The media and whoever is in charge of the media, the overlords, whatever you want to call them, are trying to cause division, first and foremost. It doesn't help that the media, the entertainment that we consume, continues to race swap these characters. And it's even worse that there are people, non-white people, that aren't getting that fucking message. They're like, why do they keep on changing up white characters? Why aren't we seeing more original non-white characters? You want to talk about, the race swapping of the Norse gods.
Right.
Okay. You want to keep race swapping Norse mythology.
How about Cleopatra?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Wolfman from Mega Movie Z. He had shared an article with us that they're, for an upcoming docudrama based on Cleopatra, they're race swapping her. Now, here's the thing. A little bit of history. The Egyptians, early on, they were black. But there was an invasion from Asia. I believe they were called the Hyksos. They came in and they basically took over Egypt. And you started seeing intermingling of the races where you got more light-skinned Egyptians in later dynasties. But the original Egyptians, they were black. That's just a quick little history side note. You can go look that up yourself. Look up the Hyksos. And that's what I recommend you do. Anyway, so you have this race swap of the Norse gods. And I'm thinking to myself, why aren't you tapping in to the other mythologies across the world where they have gods in these cultures that aren't white, that you could be telling these stories? You want to talk about spreading black influence or getting more representation? Why aren't you creating original stories? Why aren't you giving us these stories and making good stories for people to invest in? Because they don't actually care about the representation. They care about the message they want to send. They don't care about black people per se getting actual representation. They don't care about giving good stories either. That's the biggest thing. These people do not want to tell good stories. They know that if they do their race, like if they make a movie that is solely being promoted for its diversity, that is nothing but diversity and inclusion messaging, the movie's going to underperform and suck. Why is this true? Strange Worlds. That movie was promoted for having its diverse cast, and it sucked ass. People were like, oh my God, the trolls are review bombing. It's like, no, motherfuckers aren't going to see it. They're not going to see this movie because it is shit. They're being lectured to about race and gender and sexuality. They don't want it. They don't need it. They don't have it. They're not going to have it. They didn't go see the movie. Oh, Brie Larson getting on her fucking soapbox. Oh, I don't care what some 40-year-old white you had to say about this stupid movie. It wasn't made for him. Okay, fine. Fine. It wasn't made for us. We're not going to go see it. Charlie's Angels, Elizabeth Banks. Oh, this movie wasn't for white men or straight men or whatever the fuck. It's for the women. Well, guess what? Women nor men didn't go see this movie. That's why it's shit. They had a movie. It was like a rom-com, romantic comedy, right? Where It was literally a bunch of gay dudes dating. And the movie underperformed. But they promoted the shit out of that movie for, oh yeah, it's an all gay cast or mostly gay cast, gay men getting it on. People don't want to see that shit. They don't want to hear about the lecturing. It's retarded.
I mean, even, and no, it has nothing to do with homophobia or the trolls or anything like that. I mean, look at Brokeback Mountain, for example. Like, yes, it has the gay stuff there, but it wasn't like in your face and making the big fuss of that because it was actually trying to tell the story first, get you in the characters. And it's not like I'm a fan of the movie, but I can at least acknowledge that that movie was at least made with care and not just the idea to just lecture everyone and push the message.
Or maybe two examples. Like, one of them, there's this movie. It has Patrick Swayze, rest his soul, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo. It's called
Roadhouse.
There's this movie that came out in like '99 called To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and it stars all three of them. But guess what? They're fucking Manhattan elite drag queens, and they go on a cross country adventure. And the difference between that is that it stars a bunch of straight guys, straight men, straight actors playing gay men on drag though. And at least it has a story and a plot to it. It's not like straight up in your face, like pushing their fucking agenda onto you. Even though RuPaul made a fucking cameo in there, but I digress. And another thing though, DeSantis, what the fuck is wrong with you? The fucking governor of Florida. Like, you know what he just did though? He passed a law that the Rocky Horror Picture Show, good cult classic film by the way, is basically like it's fucking banned though. Which I wouldn't say banned though. It's basically if you had to be 18 or over to see it though. Otherwise, it's be considered illegal, which is fucking stupid though. I mean, come on. Just because.
Look here. Let me interject this, okay? I want you to understand something, Carter, because maybe you forgot about this. So, a few months ago, there was this big thing that the media was pushing called the "Don't Say Gay" bill. Even though it wasn't actually that, the bill was called Parental Rights and Education Bill. Here's the thing: the drag shit, the transgender shit. Back in the day, it wasn't as big as the simple lesbian, bisexual, gay thing. Okay, you had people that were either gay or bisexual that wanted their right to be with whoever they wanted. The drag queen shit, the transgender shit, while it wasn't non-existent, it wasn't as common, and it was more regarded as a fetish. And when you really look at it, yeah, I can see why it was regarded as a fetish. It wasn't regarded as a legit sexuality or sexual orientation. But what we're seeing these days is that there is a huge push to have people, and in particular little people, aka children, involved not only in drag queen related events, because there is an entire movement for family friendly drag events where people are in drag and performing very sexualized dances, twerking, etc.
Gyrating.
They're marketing this shit to be family friendly. They want family friendly. There is no family friendly drag shows. That makes about as much sense as saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a family friendly strip club." Okay. The thing is that I don't blame DeSantis. And look, full transparency, I don't trust a lot of politicians in my government for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I don't even trust DeSantis fully because I am always thinking about, okay, who is his owner? Who's pulling his strings? Who's giving him these funds? Anyway,
Sleepy Joe.
No, beyond that. Anyway, with that said, Florida has been in the spotlight not only because of DeSantis, but because of Disney being there. Disney World, remember that? Mm-hmm. And Disney, employees going out, and Bob Chapek, former CEO of Disney, who was fired on a Sunday while being at a music concert.
Elton John.
Yes. And then bringing back Bob Iger. But look, I don't blame him because look, yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show, cult classic. I've never seen it personally, but I've heard plenty of things about it. Whatever. The thing is, I don't particularly blame him for whatever. Again, I need to look up what you're saying because I've never even heard of this. But if he has put some kind of restriction, do I completely agree with it? Maybe not. I mean, it's a film, but at the same time, I understand why, because Florida, like Texas, has been getting criticized for not supporting or being against certain LGBT related shit, particularly with the transgender community and drag shows. So
people
I
wanting
don't,
pedophile to be
I don't,
considered a race,
I don't want, I don't blame him for
sexuality.
for what he's saying or for whatever he's done, especially because we're seeing a lot of this happen more and more, and that leads us into the, I guess, one of the last subjects of the night, that being Bud Light and the sponsorship with Dylan. I don't
Maloney.
Dylan Baloney. I'll call him Dylan Baloney.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a big thing going on right now, and last time I checked, the CEO of Bud Anheuser, or however you pronounce
Budweiser.
But it's the parent company that owns Bud Anheuser, whatever. But they put out a statement about we didn't have any idea that they did a promotion with Dylan to do this, having the guy's face on the can. There's the whole video of him just drinking the beer, and this guy
looking like Audrey Hepburn.
This guy Dylan has been pretty famous for a while now because he had went through a transition process. Funny enough, he was in a picture with Ellen Page before both of them ended up swapping. That's the funny part. They were in a picture together. And it's like, who the fuck is this Dylan guy anyway? I don't know. I didn't know who he was before he decided to think he was a she. But regardless, he got a bit of a promotion deal. And you know what? Bud Light, first of all, I mean, I don't drink, so it's kind of irrelevant to me. But Bud Light, it's like piss beer. It's like low quality, shitty beer.
Or it's basically equivalent to Bear Grylls, basically just literally milking. Scratch that. Bear Grylls just pissing in bottles, or basically pissing in a giant container with
Why are you egging on Bear Grylls?
Because that's what Bear Grylls did, though. He drank his own piss, though, when he was alone in the wilderness.
But that's for survival. How is that related to? Okay,
never mind.
Piss beer, but don't shit on Bear Grylls. He's got nothing to do with this. Make fun of someone else. Make fun of the homeless guy on the street that shoves needles up his ass. I don't know.
Or make fun of the one we're talking about right now. But I do think it's funny, though. I mean, it's almost fitting in a way that for this kind of character, to have this person be on the picture for Bud Light cans, because, having someone pretending to be a woman is very fitting if you're going to be promoting a drink pretending to be beer.
That's a good point.
Because, I mean, I don't drink a whole lot of beer, but, I mean, granted, during the Easter weekend, that's just really all it was. It was just beer and sports with my dad. So,
there you go.
But we drink Busch Light.
Busch
Light. Busch Light or Kokanee. Give me that shit. I don't need any Bud Light, but I'm not even much of a drinker, except Jägermeister. Because
Hunting Master.
It is good for the soul. And it helps me get through a lot of shit.
Yep.
But you know what?
Predator.
Yeah. Or Terminator Dark Fate.
Or get that shit out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
But no, okay, so here's my thing. Again, back to what I said earlier. Whatever you do, your private time, that's your business. Who am I to say what you can and can't do? With that said, I take a problem when you're openly trying to get kids involved with it, especially when it comes to mutilating their bodies, giving them hormone blockers, which I consider to be child abuse. And there's no wiggle room on that front. I'm sorry. If you think that it's okay to be giving kids hormone blockers and to encourage genital mutilation, you are a fucking monster and you deserve to be slain as so. And I'm not afraid to say that because that's exactly what that's it. That is the ultimate end point for you. When you egg kids on to, I mean, first of all, the pedophilia shit, right? I mean, I saw a video of a fucking woman at a TED Talk encouraging that people be more accepting of pedophilia as a legit form of sexual orientation.
Hell no.
This is a slippery slope. You open the door, it starts with the transgender LGBT shit, and then it just keeps on going on and on and on. And something that I've noticed as behavior, because it's not just the pedophilia side of things, it's not just for the transgender LGBT shit. We've seen it for years with religious communities, have we not? And there seems to be a common trend.
The Pope.
Here's the common trend. Both parties are engaged in a form of almost sexual repression. And when you're repressed for such an extended period of time, you're repressing something that's building up, and eventually that bottle's going to pop. Think of it like you shake up a soda can or a bottle. You shake up the can, champagne, and you build up all that pressure, and then eventually it's going to explode. And in the case for some of the religious shit, you have priests being pedophiles. On the other hand, you have transgender drag queen shit where they start egging out, oh yeah, bring the kids, it's going to be family friendly. And then the kids go missing. And then you find the kids later, it turns out they were fucking violated. This shit happens. And my problem is that a lot of people are not speaking out against it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people. It's just, it feels like there aren't enough people buffing up against it because I keep seeing this drag shit everywhere I go. I was like, oh, well, being a drag queen doesn't equal being a pedophile. No, I know that. It's just it just so happens that so many drag queens happen to be sexual predators, convicted. Like, for example, you used to have drag queen story time. You had that shit down in Austin. Turns out that one of the drag queens that was doing the story time, oh yeah, he was a convicted child molester.
Oh god damn.
Just so happened to be let into a fucking library reading to kids. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
At least do like a fucking background check before you do this shit.
Or just don't do it at all.
Exactly. Now,
here's the thing, right? Check this out. I was thinking about this for a while. So I was watching some classic Universal monster movies a few days ago. I was watching The Wolfman. And one of the things that hit me was lycanthropy. Now, like, clinical lycanthropy is an actual thing. It is an actual mental disorder. And then I started thinking about mental disorders. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you have these groups of people that want to legitimize men thinking that they're women or women thinking they are men and say that is progressive and we should accept it. And then I look at clinical lycanthropy and it's the same thing. It's trying to accept that someone believes there's something they are not. We regard clinical lycanthropy as a mental disorder, yet with gender dysphoria, oh, it's not really just a mental disorder. It's someone wants to express themselves. We need to help them in pursuing that goal, even if they're fucking 5 years old. Yeah. I'm sorry, Carter. Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
Harry Potter himself.
Yeah, my respect is officially gone out the window.
Talk about another actor. I mean, and that it's disappointing. And I'm not making fun of you for like. I mean, I've egged you on for liking Harry Potter before, Carter. But I do feel bad for you because I've been exactly where you are right now, where you have some of your favorite actors that they keep quiet or you don't hear their political opinions for so long. It's like, man, I love this guy. Or I love this girl. They're a great actor. Then they start spewing their fucking political opinions, and suddenly you're just like, well, fuck you. I'm out. I am done. I've had that happen with Mark Hamill. I love him as the Joker. I love him as Luke Skywalker, but his Trump derangement syndrome is fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
And back to the pedophile thing. Again, I don't care what you fucking say. You cannot let kids make life-changing decisions when it comes to this shit. You shouldn't be taking kids to fucking strip shows, drag shows, anything that is adult-orientated. There is no family-friendly, adult-orientated content. It is not a thing. It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
you have people that will defend it. They will get on the news and say, oh, yeah, we need to get more family-friendly drag shows going. We need to be inclusive. We need to have diversity and inclusion and representation. That's all they fucking say. Before you go on, I have neglected the chat for too long. We've had people commenting since then. Really quick, hold that thought. Hold that thought, Carter.
Okay.
Kyle says, well, first of all, hello, Kyle. Welcome. He says, fuck Disney. I'm not supporting Disney. They're not getting my money. And then I knew Daniel was a piece of shit a long time ago. A dipshit Harry. Dipshit Harry. That's
wow.
Thank you on the 130 subscribers. Appreciate it, man. Bacon. I thought I smelled some good old-fashioned American or Canadian
Yep.
breakfast delights.
Yep.
Pork
Something
chop.
non-kosher. Something non-kosher.
And he says, "Fucking Harambe." That's right. Harambe Potter has gone to the. Well, you know what? No, I guess he did. Sort of.
Yeah.
Harambe Potter has gone to the dark side.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry. So, what were we gonna say, Carr?
okay. Like, let me tell you something though. Like, why do you think whenever you go to like a bar, why do you think they have a big sign that says 21 and over, or no one under 21 is allowed in for a reason? Because that's one way of like you are, if you get in there, you are basically, if you get in there, like even though you're not because they're called rules for a reason. Like like going to a strip show or a cabaret show or like a gentleman's club where it's either 18 plus or 21 and over. That's basically called an age limit. That's an age limit. You're not supposed to go in there. But when you come up with the idea of a family-friendly drag show, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, that's okay. That's like, oh, you want a family-friendly drag show? Okay, take your kid to the fucking park and let them play on the fucking fire pole. Let them dance on it like a fucking stripper. Why don't you? Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Also, and another thing, though. Now, I'm just saying this. If I ever, I'm pretty sure I would never do this, but if I ever had the audacity to be a drag queen, I would never expose myself to kids. Like, expose that myself. I would do that in an adult-oriented area. Now, I would be a drag queen, but I would have been a drag queen, but I wouldn't flash my shit around like I was fucking Sharon Stone or shit, and I wouldn't push my agenda on. I would just do it just for entertainment purposes only, and that's what drag shows are, fucking entertainment purposes. You don't go to a
Are they though?
or
Have
like
they ever really been that? I mean, that's the thing. Here's the bigger issue that I have. Like I said before, you have the freedom to do whatever you want in the privacy of your own home or in the congregation of your peers and fellow like-minded individuals.
or if I was an actor.
With that said, we've seen many cultures in the past that have gone down the rabbit hole of bullshit and they collapse. Many empires have come and gone for many different reasons. But something that kind of that sparked my attention a bit was in Batman Begins with Ra's al Ghul, where he was talking about when a society has reached the pinnacle of its decadence, we return to restore the balance. That's what's happening here, because it wasn't too long ago where a lot of things that are now mainstay for Western culture were not. Things that are being promoted as okay, they weren't okay. And certain things I agree with, certain things I don't agree with. You know, I think that you had a lot of people, especially in like the conservative Republican side of things, that were shaming video games. How many people have gotten on the news and said, "Oh, well, school shootings are caused by video games," or you have the left that says, "Well, school shootings are caused because of guns and right-wing conspiracy theorists and shit." And then you have us in the middle that we like guns and we like video games. We say, "Well, you're both fucking wrong," and you know, I mean, just nerd culture, even in general. I mean, again, we said this earlier, where it was frowned upon to like comic books, and the thing is, this is something that that world class bullshitters on YouTube said long ago, not too long ago, but it's been a while, where he was saying that basically the comic books, the movies that we watch, they're basically our new mythologies. You know, back in the days of the Greeks, the Romans, and ancient times, more ancient times. You had people that were worshiping idols, gods. You know, they had their different plays. They had different rituals to celebrate these things. That's basically what we have now with film. You know, these are our new mythologies, our new mysteries, right? You know, there's still many mysteries in this planet, on this earth. But enjoy the movies, the TV shows, these characters, we getting invested into their stories and how people actually get inspired by these stories and go on to live rich, fulfilling lives. You know, I think that's a really good thing. And when we get on here and we vouch for these films, it's not just because we were there at the beginning. where we enjoyed this stuff when it was ridiculed. It's that we can get inspired to do things by watching some of these great films. To have some self-respect to say, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this quality movie. I'm going to take the positive things from this movie. I'm going to apply it to myself. I'm going to go on. I'm going to do better things. That's one of the great things about movies is that you can take inspiration from it and then apply it to yourself and then make things better for yourself and people around you. You know, that's what we're trying to do. So when we get on here and we criticize the fuck out of shitty movies, especially when they lecture us about politics, there's a damn good reason why we do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we can't forget this, because eventually this political bullshit's going to go away. It's going to be replaced with something else. Hopefully that something else isn't as bad as what we got now, but who fucking knows? We can't forget that movies can be shitty without being political. There can still be shitty movies that aren't political. It's just right now we have a blend of both. Shitty movies that are shitty movies and shitty movies because they are political.
Yeah.
It's happening.
But again, I mean, people always like to make the argument that all art is political. Well, no, not all art is political.
That's fucking stupid.
But even if it was, and you wanted to inject politics into it in some way, whether you do or not, the important thing is, if you are going to have some kind of any sort of pseudo-political messages in your whatever you're making, movie, TV show, comics, video game, whatever, it should never be at the forefront. It's got to be the subtext, because getting the audience, like, you have that message there, and getting the audience to think about it is a good way to engage them in the story. But the modern Hollywood now, it doesn't take that route anymore, because they don't hire writers. They hire activists. So they resort to just to beat you over the fucking head with their shit. Like, remember Black Christmas 2019?
Oh, God.
Like, that was just, like, the most obnoxious fucking feminist propaganda bullshit I have ever seen. And I still take great pride in just remembering I'm looking in the theater. There's 4 other people here, and I'm the only guy here. How funny is that?
I never saw that movie, but when I saw that trailer, I wanted to just vomit several hundred times
I don't blame you.
Just to get the memory out of my head of what I witnessed. And I heard that the movie was shit anyway, and rightfully so, predictably.
Yeah.
So, but that's where we are, folks. We're at a very interesting time, because you have all these different projects that have been canceled or rescheduled. Like, for example, this Captain Marvel sequel,
How many times has this been pushed?
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's already telling. I mean, we already know it's going to be shit. I mean, that first trailer, that teaser trailer, it teased us all right. It teased us with our intelligence on a little hook, like, oh, hey, look, see, here's your intelligence. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch it.
No, or it's like that State Farm commercial, like, oh, you almost had it. You got to be quicker than that. Oh, with the fisherman.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
You're excused.
But so another thing, more of these Star Wars projects too. Like, this is a good one. You guys will get a kick out of this. So one of the actors for this upcoming Star Wars TV series, I think it is, called Acolyte. One of the actors said, "Oh, there isn't good and bad in Star Wars. It's just a matter of perspective."
Bullshit.
No.
I laughed my ass off, because I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. The Emperor ordering the destruction of an entire planet, or sorry, Grand Moff Tarkin ordering the destruction of an entire planet just to tease somebody. Yeah, that's not evil at all. It's not even good. It's just perspective. Oh, yeah. Hey, kid, I know I just murdered your family, but hey, it's perspective. Bruce Wayne, don't worry. It's just perspective. Superman, hey, I know I just snapped your neck and all, but it's just perspective. Yeah. Stupid fucking arguments. Come on, people. No good and bad. No good and bad in Star Wars. When Darth Vader slashing people up in Rogue One, force choking Admiral Piet, or fuck, what was his name? Admiral Ozzel. Right?
Ozzel. Yes.
Who
was totally a rebel spy. He totally was.
But he's force choking the bastard. Oh yeah. There is no good and bad in Star Wars. Luke Skywalker saying, no, Palpatine or whatever. I am a Jedi, like my father before me. No good or evil. Fuck you. It's just one of many reasons why I'm done with Disney Star Wars. Fuck Disney Star Wars. Get away from Disney Star Wars. Fucking Grogu is not that cute anymore. Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. Fucking worthless. When they fucking fired Gina Carano, goddammit, they say they support women, but they fired a woman for having a fucking differing political view. They said that, she was comparing what it's like to being a Republican to being a Jew in Nazi Germany. She didn't say Republican in the goddamn post. She didn't say it at all.
She didn't mention any political party.
Sit there and lecture us that, she's anti-Semitic. She's a fucking Republican. Fuck you. And fuck your Disney Star Wars. It sucks ass. Your actors are leaving. You trying to resurrect your fucking franchise by bringing back the most unrelatable, overpowered fucking character in your universe to get people back? You couldn't get them back with a Mandalorian for very long. You couldn't get them back with Boba Fett.
Obi-Wan.
They violated him and they violated Vader. What was her name? Fucking, I don't even remember her name. The Inquisitor chick in Obi-Wan.
The third sister.
Reva.
Reva. This was a show about Obi-Wan. It's gonna feature a young Leia who can escape 3 grown-ass men.
Well, his friend
in a little droid called Lola. What the fuck?
By the way, quick side note. I heard that the actress, she was in like an interview. They were doing like a little presentation with her. All right,
finish.
Basically, I didn't watch it. I want to watch it now, though. But she had said something that was really hilarious because she basically called out the logic in Star Wars on one of the things. I had to watch it, but basically, people were like, "Oh my god, this little girl is smarter than most Disney writers." Ooh. I don't know exactly what she said, but now I want to see what she said though.
Well, she was actually going to be at the convention I'm going to in a couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
But she canceled.
Oh.
But again, I didn't really care. I was just like, oh no, not Kid Leia, not her.
The one that escaped grown after the alien adults.
Yeah, one of which wasn't one of them Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers or something.
I think he was also Needles from Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's funny how that worked. Because of course it comes like once the convention month is here, like, all right, it's about to start. It's this month. Can't wait. Oh, now people are canceling. Here we fucking go.
Well, I hope that Hayden Christensen doesn't cancel for you.
Oh, don't fucking say that. But anyway, like Gwendolyn Christie, Phasma, she canceled.
From Wednesday as well, and Game of Thrones.
She was in Wednesday?
Yeah, she played the headmistress.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Gwendolyn, I'm going to use Phasma's armor to roast some food, Christie.
Well, that makes sense because Christina Ricci was also going to be there. They both canceled, so I'm guessing, maybe that's why. But you know who they did announce? I didn't even tell you guys. Andy Serkis.
Well, that ought to be interesting.
Wait. Remind me again, who's Andy Serkis? I'm sorry.
Gollum.
Snoke,
Caesar. Alfred.
That little shit. Now I remember.
He's not that bad.
Okay.
I mean, sure, his Snoke character was complete dog shit, but it's not really his fault.
Yeah, always
Gollum.
My precious.
Oh, also, speaking of voices, that voice you did earlier, it sounded like a mix between Cartman from South Park and George Carlin.
I was really just doing a really bad angry feminist.
And god damn it, man. If George Carlin was still alive, can you imagine the kind of shows, like so much material he would have for his shows?
Well, a lot of it still holds water today. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or
and Dave Chappelle.
I can't tell if that's good or a bad thing. Yeah, Dave Chappelle too.
To a certain degree, although
But that's the thing with comedy. Like when they bring up these issues that make you ask questions about the world we're in, that can be really engaging because you're looking at it through the lens of comedy. But the comedy is dying now because they have tried to go the politically correct route they will cater to the same people who like to reinforce the anti-white rhetoric and all that shit, the anti-straight white male shit, because it's politically correct. Well, political correctness has no place in comedy because you got to risk being offensive to anyone when it comes to comedy because it is comedy. It is not meant to incite harm. It is not. It is not. It is meant to make us laugh. Like, even if you tell a gay joke to a gay guy and he laughs, was there really any harm? Of course not, because he's laughing too, even though he's at the butt end of a joke. And if you've done that to someone, and if they laugh, that's good. You did your job. Even if their answer is along the lines of, oh, ho, 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 oh my God, that's terrible. You know they're laughing because they know. That part in the back of their mind knows. It's funny because there is no real threat. That's something that was always triggered in battle, where like people would laugh when there's no real threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then until the real threat shows up, then you're fucked.
No,
Yeah.
but that's where humor has always stemmed from. It's the lack. It's when it seems like there might be danger, but there isn't, and it triggers something in the back of your mind, and we laugh. Humor is a transcendent tool. That's the thing.
Making people laugh. That is a byproduct of something really entertaining and positive.
Yep.
I mean, being able to laugh at something funny, it's like making fun of something really serious just to get a good breather. Because, I mean, horror movies do a really good job of this, where they put in the comic relief character, and that character serves as a tension reliever. Because if your movie is nothing but one thing, and you don't have any break in between, then it can be an unpleasant experience. But even just that little bit of humor can be a really good tool to use. And some of the best movies do it, don't they?
Like Jonathan and the Mummy.
But yeah. I gotta tell you though, I mean, sometimes too much humor, like sometimes when it's meant to be unpleasant, like especially with horror, I sometimes think you got to do away without the comic relief, or at least kill them off first.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm sure we were about to bring it up anyways, but here we go. Predator. Again, from the 80s action cheese, but then once the shit hits the fan, who dies? The comic relief dies. Because
it gets serious.
Yeah, because if Hawkins was still around when shit was really going down, he'd ruin the movie.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
Because he has no place in that movie when it does a complete 180 and it switches to a horror movie. And speaking of Predator, you heard it when I sent you that video.
Yes.
With that fucking elephant from Power Rangers. Like, I'm watching, I listen carefully, like, I hear, it's like, was that no. I just heard the fucking Predator roar.
That was hilarious.
I couldn't believe my ears.
But hey, you know what though? There was a good funny moment even after Hawkins died in that movie. You remember when Mac was killing the pig and Pancho finds him, he's like, Jesus, you killed a pig. Hey, you think you'd have found something bigger? That was a funny little moment. But then they immediately switched back to the horror element because Blaine's body was gone. But
it also works because the way Mac would respond, because Mac lost his fucking mind.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I also say something? I forgot to mention this earlier. The Bud Light the trailer with this thing dressed like fucking Audrey Hepburn, like at Breakfast at Tiffany's or whatever. Yeah, like in promoting it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, is this supposed to be like a promotion or something? God damn it! What the fuck is this shit, though?
Well, the funny thing is, though, the CEO said was that, or it wasn't the CEO. It was one of the higher ups of the company. They said that they weren't made aware of that entire promotion.
So So somebody did that promotion behind their back.
essentially.
Okay, and also another thing though,
If that's even true, though.
okay, and to be honest though, I don't drink beer, but the only good thing that Bud Light is for, if that has her face on it, or that person's face on it, or that thing's face on it, you know what it's good for? It's good for shotgunning. And I don't mean the party. I don't mean like shotgunning a beer. You know, when you stab it, you do that. Not that kind of shotgun. though. I mean the good old fashioned.
Yeah.
That kind of
target
shotgun.
practice.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, though.
Also,
something. Hold on. This is important because if you're protesting or you're speaking against something, why would you spend money? Why would you spend money on it just to destroy it? That seems like a double negative. That is a fucking waste. Now, if someone gave it to you as a gift, then that's a different story. It's like, oh yeah, here I bought this can for you.
I mean, when it comes to movies, I mean, sometimes even with what you're saying, there will be an exception. Like, I base an entire show watching garbage like this.
I'd say that's a really good way, a good spending of money.
But
personally.
I'll tell you, but even with the whole spending money thing, I swear to God, it's like Disney has finally caught wind of how I'm saying, I'm not buying any more of your products. I don't care how tempting it may be, because now I'm seeing shit where it's like, I kind of wish I would. I almost wish I would want that, but I'm not doing it because King of Trade, that's the name of the pawn shop where I get my shit. They had the Obi-Wan lightsaber. It's like, cool, but I'm not buying it. I don't care if this is more for you guys, support local businesses, but I'm sure some of that will still go to Disney. So no, I go to GameStop, Luke Skywalker's green saber. Not doing it. I go to the other GameStop, Revan's lightsaber. Once again,
Tempting.
I'm not doing it. It's tempting, but no. Especially since, I mean, Comic-Con's coming up in a couple weeks for me, and I'm saving money. I got my little fund going on. I am hoping that I'm sure they'll be there. The place that sold me this.
Oh yeah, I want to get that jacket.
I am hoping that they better have the Red Ranger, because last year it actually came down to flipping a coin, red or green. I got green.
Yep.
Hey, you chose the color of Luke Skywalker.
I did. But I also want to talk about the whole Bud Light commercial, because look how commercials have come too. Like, think about back in the day where they were pretty simple in marketing, but they somehow knew how to be entertaining at the same time too.
I was just about to mention that in my rant.
But like, there was this one Bud Light commercial I saw many years ago where like these two friends with their dogs, they meet. They're just kind of like, "Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, want to see this trick my dog could do? Sparky, fetch!" The dog goes and gets a Bud Light, right out of the cooler and brings it to him. He's like, "What can your dog do?" "Spot Bud Light." His dog bites the guy's balls, squeals, and it flies out of his hand.
And he just catches it. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me though. How the hell do we go from iconic commercials like from Budweiser and Bud Light to this piece of shit though? I mean, let me tell you something though. Budweiser, like, they had the best fucking commercials. The fucking frogs, like the frogs, belching or croaking to
Budweiser.
Yes, exactly that. To the infamous "What's up? What's up?" That shit. Like the Wayans brothers took inspiration from Budweiser.
Yeah.
And the Clydesdales, the fucking iconic Clydesdales, all their commercials. Let me tell you something. True story. Every Super Bowl Sunday, we don't only watch the Super Bowl because we don't care who's fucking playing. We just want the fucking halftime show and the commercials. That's it. Okay. We don't like the game. We just want the commercials. And whenever it rolls around, though, we prefer the Budweiser commercials, the fucking Clydesdales, like the Clydesdales. They had like very good commercials, though. And it caught our attention, though. These commercials are so good, though. But then they stopped showing them. They give us like crap, though. And then they have the audacity to show this. Sorry.
Because even these companies, they want to get on their high horse and start virtue signaling. Like, go back to 2017. The Super Bowl ad, Bianca Footwear, where basically it was just a shoe commercial that says equal pay is no longer enough. It was like the most pro-feminist shoe commercial with the most. It's one of the dumbest commercials I've ever seen. Like it's about like it shows all these women like trying to stand up to their bosses and shit. Like, we're not getting paid enough. Like, there's this woman who's like speaking to them through through some recording or something. I don't know, but like this girl gets on her boss's desk, and kicks his cup of coffee into his face. It's like, is this really to say? This is really to fight the non-existent wage gap? Like, I don't think that kicking a cup of coffee into your boss's face is going to get you a raise. Like, I'm pretty
some jail time.
Like, I'm 110% confident that after your boss is done wiping the coffee from his face and screaming from the scalding hot temperature that just struck him, his next words to you are not going to be, you get a raise. His next words are, you're fired.
And you're going to jail, bitch.
But also with this commercial, it's not just the visual metaphors. It's the message itself that's being spoken, like saying women's haircuts are more expensive. It's like, that's not true. Like, you don't go into a salon that says men's haircuts $10, women's haircuts $20. It's like, that's not how it works.
I mean, you like back in the day, it did though. Like there were like 5 cents or like $5.
But we're not in that time period anymore. That's the thing. But the point is, they always try and complain about how women have to pay more, and they think it's all about how these fucking big corporations are all just boys clubs who like to discriminate. That is not fucking true. But that doesn't stop these commercials from promoting the shit. All this shit is in the media now.
How many times have we heard the breaking of the glass ceiling?
Oh my fucking God. I mean, like they also say, like, women's underwear is more expensive. It's like, no.
Is it though?
No. If you were to go on Walmart right now and just type in ladies' underwear and compare it to men's underwear, yeah, the men's underwear is more expensive.
But women have to wear bras. Men don't have to buy it.
Oh, you have to pay $5 extra for a bra. Boo-hoo.
You should be blaming the fucking inflation, not so much the companies themselves per se.
It's getting worse. It is getting worse. Inflation is just getting worse at this point because I went to the co-op just across the street to get some pops earlier. $3.50 for like a 591 milliliter bottle, which is like, I don't know how the measurement goes. Like, what does OZ mean? What does that mean? Ounces?
Ounces, yeah.
Yeah, ounces. OZ, Oz.
So,
yeah, that's ounces.
I don't know. So I think that'd be 12 ounces. Like, hang on.
But anyway.
Yeah, so it's actually under 12 ounces because the one I have is 355, and that's 12 ounces. It says it on the can. But
yeah, I mean, like the good like Budweiser commercials, like the commercials, like come on, they're so fucking iconic though. They makes you want to buy a Budweiser, even though you don't fucking drink beer though.
Yeah, $3.50 for this.
Wait, $3.50 or
$3.50. $3.50.
So each. For us, Carter, that would be like $2.25, I think.
That is fucking terrible. Now, admittedly, they did have the 2 for $5 deal, so.
Oh well, compared to this one, this is basically 16 fucking ounces though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this from a fucking gas station though.
Either way, so many things happening. I mean, the inflation, like just for the U.S., our national debt. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. I don't want to have to travel down that far on that one because we'd be here all night talking about that.
And it would, between us, it'd just be a pissing contest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the end, the same conclusion. We're going to hell in a handbasket. Western civilization. The quality of not only our products, I mean, the quality of food, clothing, our entertainment. I mean, it all matters. It's all connected. The culture, everything is connected. Back to what I was saying earlier with the Ra's al Ghul quote. You know, Western civilization has enjoyed a lot of things, but with all this war talk, with the national debt, the inflation, all these things colliding. It's a recipe for disaster, and some of these big corporations will eventually fall, and it's not going to be a very pretty sight. I mean, with Disney laying off a lot of employees already, I don't know if HBO Max or HBO Warner Brothers have been doing the same thing, but it's getting pretty rough out there, people. But you got to stay strong. Remember to just keep a cool head about these things. Do some wise planning, stocking up on food. I know it sounds like a prepper mindset, but fuck, dude, with the way things are going with the prices and shit, that would be doing just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to entertainment a bit, fucking Star Wars guys. Gina Carano. You know what? Cara Dune. I liked her.
She's the baddest bitch.
I was a little wary at first, just because I was thinking about Disney being their usual selves. But then I started liking her, and then I found out Gina Carano was saying some interesting things, like, "Oh, you know what? I might support this lady." And of course, look what happened.
Right.
Oh yeah, here's a good one. Chris Snyder in the house. What's going on, man? He says, "Destroy me and become all this."
Oh my fucking god! No.
You know
You've
what?
had
Maybe
too
Palpatine.
much to drink.
Maybe Palpatine really is still alive. Maybe he's the unborn child in her.
Oh, okay. That is straight up Nightmare on Elm Street 5 bullshit. Fuck that.
No, imagine that though. Like, imagine that's exactly what happens. That before the Emperor died, he imbued some of his Force essence into Rey, and for 15 years. Think about it.
Okay, you're combining elements of fucking Nightmare on Elm Street 5 and Halloween 6.
Now think about this. You know, I saw a meme of this. So if Rey, theoretically, if that turns out to be true, and this sequel to Rise of Skywalker takes place 15 years after, the only thing that reminds me of is that one part in Family Guy where Peter's like, "Okay, first of all, Bonnie, you've been pregnant for like 6 years, so either have that thing or don't."
Right?
It's like, wait a minute, you're telling me that a baby took 15 years to develop? I mean, I guess it's not exactly like natural insemination. It's Force essence shit. Whether it's Palpatine or Kylo Ren, what the fuck?
You know what I think?
I mean,
Oh, come on! That's bullshit!
Thank you.
Exactly.
yeah.
Think about that, though, guys. Think about the reality that not only is Rey coming back, but she's going to be pregnant and she's going to rebuild the Jedi Order for Tatooine.
I find it funny that she's coming back too.
No.
You know why I think it's funny? Because Daisy Ridley did say years ago she wouldn't wanna. But
going back
I
on
guess,
your promise.
Yeah, well, I guess her career really wasn't doing her much favors now, was it? Now, I don't mean to insult her personally. I'm sure she's nice in real life. I mean, she's not. I don't think she said anything that's like really stupid or anything. But this is like, do you really want to go back to this shit? Because like, you're not gonna win Star Wars fans back because you were a poorly written character. You had potential at first, but the overpowering your character, like with using the Force in ways that no one who just learned about the Force could do on their first try, by the way. Like mind tricks. No. Like, that's for like, okay, you're making her too good already. Like, if she used the Force in that scene to actually remove the restraints herself, then maybe that would have been a bit more believable. But a mind trick on fucking Daniel Craig over there? No.
Now think about it. Think about Empire Strikes Back, and when we saw Luke using the Force for the first time, he was hanging upside down.
Technically, that wasn't the first time, but
oh, that's true. He in New Hope, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so we have him Force pulling the lightsaber, and he was struggling with that. He was struggling, but Rey, what exactly did she struggle with?
Nothing.
It got worse too because Rise of Skywalker decides to include more Force powers, Force healing, Damn, I wish Qui-Gon would have known about that earlier. It's like, oh, Master, you're dying. Don't worry, Obi-Wan. Just put your hand over my wound and I'll heal up really quick.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll be able to prevent Anakin from turning to the dark side. You know what that means, though? That means Luke and Leia won't exist. Ah, crap.
This is heavy, Doc. But it's not even just that. That's not also where Luke struggled. It was also the X-Wing, too. It was his whole training where he struggled. Like, all of it. Like, even when it came to going into the cave. Like, Yoda told him, need your weapons, you will not. He still takes it, and he still ends up failing. Because that was the test. You will not need your weapons. He takes it. Lifting the X-Wing. He couldn't do it because he didn't believe in himself. Like, sure, he believed in the Force, but even he had his doubts about whether or not what he could do. Like, that is building the character. Showing their flaws and them overcoming said flaws is how we, as audience members, can relate to them. And by the way, to the modern audiences, I do not need the character to look exactly like me in order to get invested. Because I do not base who I am as a person on identity politics.
Exactly. Hell, I mean, look at Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one. I'm sorry. It's like excluding the hilarity of that first space battle in Phantom Menace. Let's not forget that Anakin got his arm sliced off by Count Dooku. And he was the one that is destined to destroy the Sith.
Yeah.
But he didn't exactly get a free pass. Oh, and let's not forget that he was set on fire and lost the rest of his natural limbs on Mustafar.
He lost everything.
Oh, yeah, he's a Mary Sue too, because
No.
Chris says she seems nice and sweet in interviews and stuff, but that Disney check might be helpful for her right now. She's got my respect for coming back knowing how the fans would react. Everyone else seems to want to stay far away from Star Wars because of the fan reaction, so I got to give her props there. Maybe. My only thing, though, is that, like, think about John Boyega, think about Adam Driver and all the flack they got and how Disney treated them anyway. I mean, for Daisy, I think it's just a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, she probably doesn't care as much about the fan backlash, especially if you have a nice cozy house with lots of nice amenities and creature comforts. Some people can just shut off the fan backlash because some people don't care about fans. Some people just want to do what they do for the money. They don't care about how it positively affects somebody. They don't care how mad you can get about a particular project or the bastardization of a character. They say, well, your theory sucks and I'm still making my money and you will be paying for it. That's why I'm not supporting fucking Disney, because I realized that me complaining about this shit and giving them money was not only doing me a disservice, but it was also giving the people that don't like me cash. Why exactly would you give money to people who don't like you? And I can't say that because the reactions, look at it this way. Look at the reactions of how bad Sonic looked in that first trailer for the movie. And the fan backlash, and then their response to that versus what Disney has done. There are two very different paradigms. Both of them had very different results. One of them made a lot of money and gave money towards a sequel, which also did well. In fact, it did better than the first one. The other, you have failing Star Wars projects. You try to resurrect fan interest by bringing back certain characters or pushing your new characters. But even now, with The Mandalorian, for example, having a drop in ratings, I heard by the millions. Take that with a grain of salt. But that's, if true, that is a substantial number because The Mandalorian was Disney Plus's flagship character for that streaming service. And the fact that they're losing that many views, and I keep hearing these rumors that, okay, they're going to eventually kill off The Mandalorian. They're going to be doing a Mandalorian movie. They're bringing back other characters from other shows that Disney, I guess, was involved in. I guess Carter, Star Wars Rebels.
Yes,
Star Wars Rebels under Disney.
Yes, it was. Oh, and speaking of Star Wars Rebels, Guess what? I saw like a little snippet though. This was a spoiler. It was in one of the episodes of The Mandalorian, and Blue, the Asian bald X-wing New Republic pilot, the one that talked to Cara Dune saying, "Oh, how you're from Alderaan, I served on Alderaan." Guess what? He talks to a Y-wing pilot, and guess who that Y-wing pilot it was? It was Garazeb Aurelios, CGI, Steve Bloom, full regalia, just like what the fuck. Like, to be honest, I prefer him like animation form, but
they're bringing all those characters back for the Ahsoka series, which, I enjoyed the characters a bit from the Star Wars Rebels series, but I didn't really get into the series too much. But again, losing my respect for Disney after they fired that woman right there.
Who's
okay? That's her right there is one of the main reasons why I am not supporting Disney anymore. On top of the fact that they kept on attacking fans for not liking the sequel trilogy.
And they just keep doubling down on that with like everything they do. And it's not just Star Wars, it's their remakes. Like, look at what they're doing with The Little Mermaid. It's always all about, the only people who don't like this are racist. It's like, once again, I am not the one who gives a fuck about this. Disney, I want you to listen to me very carefully. The only ones here who care about the race is you. You are the ones making this about race. Well, like, Ariel could still be just as white as a fucking sheet in that movie, and I would still say, no, I'm not going to see this. I am done supporting this creatively bankrupt business that, in theory, should have all the tools from creativity and imagination at their disposal. Like, they have all these properties, all of it, and they squander it because all they think where the money is capitalizing on your nostalgia. And even there, it's failing. It is failing. Look at Lightyear, a spin-off to a beloved character from Toy Story, and that movie flopped because right off the bat, you gave us a big red flag that had people like me thinking, like, okay, so Tim Allen's not voicing Buzz Lightyear. Well, why the hell not? Because, I mean, don't forget, I voiced Buzz Lightyear once in that TV show. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
But still, Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. Like, the hell with Chris Evans. He's a one-trick pony for me.
No.
He's Captain America. That's all he is.
Or he's what's his name from Lucas Lee from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
All right, yeah, that.
Yeah, or
I haven't seen that movie.
Or Human Torch.
Okay, I just said I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim. If Chris is still watching, I'm sorry, I have not seen that movie.
Flame on! Oh shit, wrong movie.
Well, Chris, if you are still listening, I think it's time for us to do a three-way watch along for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Ooh, but anyway. But it did have me thinking, because Disney is so politically motivated nowadays, and Tim Allen, we know that his views are not in line with Disney. So it did make me wonder, did you really can him because of his views? Like, I know I could be grasping at straws here. I acknowledge that completely, but still, nobody had the interest in Lightyear because, once again, they still keep using the same marketing strategy over and over and over again to the point where everyone's tired of it. People do not care that your only way of characterizing this supporting character or whoever based on their race or their sexuality, nobody cares because that is not how you flesh out a character. That is not enough. We can't just simply relate to them at face value based on identity politics. You just can't. You gotta get us more invested by showing how we, as normal people, can relate to them.
You know what?
Based on personality and shit.
If you boil down the arguments, and if you look at the perspective of these people that are pushing these viewpoints in the first place, they're the real racists and sexist. By telling me
no kidding
that I can't relate, for example, you're telling me I can't relate to Ellen Ripley, or I can't relate to Sarah Connor, or I can't relate to Ahsoka, or to Leia, or Sabine, or any other female character or character that doesn't look like me, or him down there. You telling us the audience that we can't relate to them because they don't look like us, who are you really discriminating against? Really? Because it's a form of segregation. And I can't believe that I mean, that's essentially what's happening. You're segregating your audience by telling them that, well, you know what? This little black girl or black boy can't relate to a white guy, or this little white boy or white girl can't relate to a black guy. I mean, that is just
on that
disgusting.
note. That hypocrisy has also been demonstrated as well, because with the Haley Bailey or whatever her name is, who plays
Bailey,
whatever.
Yeah.
She always talks about how she was able to relate to Ariel, and now you're pretending now that's just not a thing because she's white, or originally was. Now it's always flip-flopping with these people.
Inconsistency with your views. I mean, you have to stay consistent. Don't fucking flip-flop under the fucking pressure. Okay?
Right.
Just because look, it takes balls to voice your opinion on something when everyone else around you doesn't agree. Think about Gina Carano. How many people, I mean, she said it herself, that people like her that aren't hardcore raging leftists or people that are just very strict with their politics to the point where, well, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to kill you, you know?
No.
And you got to have some real balls to stand up like that. And for her, she bit the ultimate bullet, didn't she? She had been vocal about her opinions for a while. And that's why I followed her, because I saw her in The Mandalorian. I was like, oh, this looks like an interesting character. And I remember seeing Gina Carano in Deadpool. So I was like, okay, very familiar face. Nice.
She was also
and then
in
I started
Fast and
seeing,
Furious.
right. Never watched that, but yeah. But seeing her on Twitter voicing her views, I'm like, man, this is one actress that I've seen in a long time that hasn't been a complete moron. Then, guess what? She gets fired. And that's where I had even more respect for her, because she didn't double down. She didn't flip flop on her views. She stood steadfast, and she got fired, yes, but she had a legion of fans supporting her. She got I would say, a pretty good deal with Daily Wire. She starred in Terror on the Prairie. So it wasn't all bad per se. I mean, there was definitely some heartbreak for sure. It's just what really pissed me off was that there weren't more people that she was associated with on Disney that supported her. They kept their mouths shut, didn't they? Fucking Carl Weathers, that really irritated the fuck out of me, because I love Carl Weathers, but he didn't really say jack shit. I mean, he put out a message or a tweet, but it wasn't what I wanted to hear. It wasn't what I wanted him to say, which is, this is bullshit. What the fuck, Disney? Nobody really did that. But hey, you know what? I can still enjoy Cara Dune. I have my figure right up there, right above my Jason Voorhees mask.
Yeah.
Did she autograph that?
She did. That's why I have that up there. It's funny because before she was fired, I was on my way back from Arizona visiting family. And I stopped at a Target up in North Texas. And they had a whole slew of those figures. And I wanted to get all of them, but I only got one. And now I regret it because Hasbro stopped marketing her figure. And I'm like, damn.
Right.
Damn.
Wow.
Chris says, and yeah, Tim Allen is Buzz. I get Lightyear was supposed to be the movie saw in 1995 and not the toy. That makes zero sense when you watch the movie, but still, why not just use the same voice? It had to have been for Tim Allen's comments, but they will bring him back for Toy Story 5, no problem. And I can't relate to a black lesbian. It depends on their character arc. What they go through, etc. That's what it comes down to, whether I relate to the character or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because, again, those things should not be the core to someone's character. Because I think it's self-defeating.
It is. I mean, if your message is to be more inclusive, like to be more accepting would be a better term. Like, hey, you know what? We're all human beings here. We have different tastes. We have different likes, dislikes, blah, blah, blah. But hey, you know what? We're all human beings here. It's a very simple, neutral message. Like, look, we have our differences, but we can still relate to each other. We still got to live with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we may not see eye to eye and everything, but that's okay. You have what you have. I have what I have. We can still coexist. No problem. But These days, that is a hard thing to come by. But hey, it's like something Ronald Reagan said back in the 80s, I think, when he was talking about that we would need an existential threat to bring us all together. And sometimes I wonder, it's like maybe that's going to happen, but let's just hope that it's not something that drives us down a path of unity that's ultimately negative. Because having everyone united in slavery, it's like, oh yeah, we're all together, we're all fucked, but we're together.
Well,
no.
Yeah, I might disagree to an extent because last time we had a threat, it divided us more than ever.
Oh yeah, it did.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
But people still said, "Oh, we're in this together," but we weren't because even then you had people that were like, "Hey, you know what? There's some inaccuracies about this," and there were people calling it out, and rightfully so. But yet people were still just poo-pooing, "Oh, conspiracy theorist, this you're that."
Yeah, but. And of course, you had people who would say, we're in this together. It's like, we're not in this together. We are not in the same boat. You're on a yacht. We're in a canoe. So spare me your little imagine there's no heaven. Spare me that shit and stick it up your ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, they'd have to stick something up their ass that originally came from their ass. That's got to be an uncomfortable feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and nasty.
Well, of course it's nasty. Something like Black Panther, where it's crucial to the character, his race, and his background. I understand that's something like that, but in 99% of cases, race doesn't matter with characters.
Exactly.
That's true.
It's got to lend itself to the story, right?
Yeah. Being accurate to a character, especially when you're adapting a comic book character, making sure you have everything as accurate as possible. We're not asking for 100% accuracy because everyone's going to have their different inputs and different social and climate situations, things that would change an adaptation in certain ways. But to be able to get it to be as accurate as possible, why wouldn't you try to go for that? If you're adapting somebody else's work, it's like Peter Jackson said that when he was doing the Lord of the Rings, it's like we did our best to not inject our own political views and thoughts. We wanted to make something that Tolkien would have done himself. And, all fairness, the Lord of the Rings movies, there's some inaccuracies compared to the books. And most likely there will be things that Tolkien wouldn't have liked. With that said, people still enjoyed the movies. It made people go back to the books, which I think is a really positive thing, where you have a movie that complements the book and you have a book that complements the movie. It's something that does really well with manga and anime. Where the two can complement each other. It's like they're separate, but they're the same thing, and it encourages people to go back and forth. Like, okay, so this is where that came from. It's good, but somehow people just, and again, going back to the tokenization argument. I mean, why is it that you want to race swap or gender swap a character for diversity reasons, right? To be more representative instead of making an entirely new character that isn't that same race as the one that you're trying to tokenize in the first place. But again, it goes back to the ultimate argument, which is they don't actually care about the representation per se. They care about the message that they're pushing.
And using as the shield against the detractors like ourselves.
Right. And that is the thing to remember, that when they want to race swap a white character, it is not because they want some representation. It's because they don't like white people. And if you don't believe that, then I encourage you to look at any article from any mainstream source that, talks about it's not okay to be white, or white people are privileged and here's why, and why race swapping is a good thing. I've seen some articles where it's like, oh yeah, Halle Bailey's Little Mermaid is black and here's why it's a good thing. I mean, it's like, what? Why don't you create your own mermaid story that features an entirely new mermaid that isn't named Ariel? It seems like a very foreign and novel concept, but...
Well, that requires too much creative integrity. But I know I probably said this about these live-action Disney remakes and what they shouldn't be doing. Like, you want to tell a similar story to the classics that we grew up with, but they do not have that tone, especially when you compare the tone they're going for in contrast with the movie's visual style. It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And with that, I hate looking at these movies because it's like they're almost going for a quasi-realistic version, very loose. So I gotta just ask, could you please just not have any of the fucking songs at all? Instead of renaming or changing lyrics so they're not offensive by today's standards, which I don't get. Because I hate the whole idea. Like, I disagree with this strongly when people like to look back at even the ones from the late 80s to the 90s. Like, there are some problematic elements of those. It's like, are there really? Or are you just too fucking sensitive to appreciate it? That's what I think. Because in my little journey of going back to them and writing reviews for them, I've written this shit down. What I like about these movies is that they resonate with us as kids, but because they had so much good in them, like with compelling themes that you will appreciate as you get older. But on the other hand, you got people who just look at it and say, oh my God, the boogeyman! Oh, I'm offended! Oh, it's like,
You know what it is? This is what it is.
Hmm.
You have people of modern day analyzing older things through the
modern lens.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening here. And people can't appreciate the nuance. They can't appreciate the reality that times were different 20 years ago. They can't understand that. They can't appreciate that. They can't say, man, look at where we were and look at where we are now. There's some good, there's some bad. There's always going to be good and bad with these things, but it's all a learning experience. But these people, they don't want to learn. That's why they censor the shit. That's why they keep remaking it, so that when people in the future look back for The Little Mermaid, they're not going to find the animated classic. They're going to find the shitty remake. Like, oh, so that's what The Little Mermaid was. No, it fucking wasn't. There was an animated movie featuring Ariel, a damn redhead, with her father.
A white redhead.
Well, and a very attractive one that's animated, but she's a teenager. Jesus Christ, why did you make her so goddamn attractive, Disney animators? Why? I mean,
not to mention,
but I know why. I know why. Because people like to look at things that look good. Because from a visual standpoint, with these live action remakes, it's vomit.
It looks like shit.
It's bad.
Like I saw some. I think it was supposed to be like some stills of the new Snow White or Snow ethnically ambiguous. And I'm sorry, not to be too harsh to the actress, but you don't look like a Snow White. And maybe it's like a personal taste.
I hate to be in that position to just say, I'm sorry, you don't fit that role. But again, we're not trying to be like those same people who are complaining about this actress for Lilo and Stitch, because that's not where we're at. We don't want to go down that hole where we're saying, no, you're not right for the character because of your skin color. Because that's not what we're going on here. We go on the motivation behind the people who are pulling the strings, Disney.
And the fact that I find it very stupid that for Lilo and Stitch, that they cast a Hawaiian actress, a person who is of Hawaiian descent, and you would think that people would, okay, cool, we're on a good start. But
representation
about the fucking skin tone, but she's Hawaiian. She's
God.
How is it? But here's the truth. Ready? You can't satisfy these fuckers. You can give them exactly what they want, but they'll continue complaining.
They thrive on that shit. They will look for anything that, fuck. Most of my socks are black. They could try and say that's some kind of racial thing just because you're white and your socks are black. You like to step on blacks. They can fucking come up with that, and maybe I should keep my mouth shut because for all I know, I'm giving them ideas. What's this say?
Chris says, remember when Arabian Nights had different lyrics where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face?
No, I don't.
I don't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't. Arabian Nights, is that a movie?
No. No, it's the name of the book, though, that Aladdin's based off of.
Oh.
Oh. Damn. I'm sorry I didn't know.
Well, neither
I'm
did
sorry,
I.
Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. But
Oh
no,
my
man.
God.
Hey, you wanna know a good reason? Just one good reason why not to support Disney. And it's not even just the biggest crater on the fucking planet of firing somebody for having a different political opinion. Um, it's because they are inconsistent with what they say.
Oh,
When you
big
have
time.
Disney that says, "Hey, you know what? Black lives do matter." Oh, but then you'll be more than happy to shrink John Boyega on the Force Awakens poster for China, make him look like a minor side character, even though he's very crucial to that movie's story.
And it's no better with what they actually do in the movies either.
I mean, they just essentially turn him into a living
Bumbling idiot.
a living speaker or a living blowhorn.
Ray!
That's embarrassing.
Oh,
And you know what? Here's the
so
thing.
bad.
Going back to Star Wars really quick, I wanted to like Rey. Okay, Daisy
I
Ridley
did
is an
too.
attractive lady,
Very.
and having her in that desert outfit, she looked good. And she had in the trailer, it was intriguing. When we see her scavenging, that was a really good opening.
Mm-hmm.
The moment she met Finn, that's where shit just went sideways. And it's not because of Finn, the character. It's because they decided to make her this overpowered, unrelatable plank of wood.
Yeah. And even with her story and her relations to Palpatine. Oh,
Arabian
that's,
Nights is.
well, I had that thought in the back
Oh.
of my mind. It's like,
That
is
too.
that? I don't know if those lyrics were in that song. Well, fuck me.
I haven't seen Aladdin in a while. It's been a while.
But shit. Yeah, like even with her inheritance, like okay, that was one of the things about the Last Jedi where I was like, huh, but I kind of appreciate it because like, okay, so she's not related to anyone important. Because the whole idea that the Force can manifest itself in one can be good, but the problem is they retcon it in the next movie, and the problem there also lies is that she is too good at everything. Like it can manifest itself in one, sure, but you gotta work hard to really know how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, you can have like a really powerful firearm, but if you don't know how to use that thing, then it's going to knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
It takes some skill. It takes some respect, knowing what you're holding, and before you use it. Like, okay, these are the things you need to be aware of as you're using this powerful tool. It seems like very simple in concept, yet they somehow manage to complicate the fuck out of it. And you know what? I always make this joke because it turns out, if you really think about it, that Rey is not the granddaughter of Palpatine. She's the daughter. The daughter, because it is a clone of the Emperor.
Oh God.
It's his DNA. So it's like a weird family tree.
Why? What is with movies always doing that nowadays? It's always got to be a clone. Like, have you seen Jurassic World Dominion?
Jurassic what?
World Dominion.
No, you don't get it. Carter should fucking know this. When I say Jurassic what, it means the movie.
We never seen it.
Yeah, well, what are you talking about? Jurassic what? I just know Jurassic Park.
Well, thank God, because Jurassic World, not a fan. When they got into the whole cloning human shit in those movies,
I lost it after that. I'm like, this is about dinosaurs eating people. Why are we turning this into a weird fucking Star Wars movie?
But
a reject.
But have you seen? But did you see the third Jurassic World?
Yes.
Because they fucking made it even worse in that movie. It's like, okay, so she wasn't actually a clone created by Farmer Hoggett from Babe there, but instead was a clone that was actually an embryo of this person who was pregnant with herself. This is a fucking dinosaur movie. What the fuck? Like, you know what?
And the audacity to bring back the legacy characters on top of that.
Oh, God damn it. Especially
Yeah.
one of them named fucking Haldo. Fuck you, bitch.
I know, but she was in the
That's
original.
that's
Yes.
it's not even the character. It's just the actress.
Yeah, it's true. It's just
But
the thing is though, I am scarred with Laura Dern because I see her whenever I see her, all I can see is Holdo. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna get lectured to you about flying in my cockpit or something. Like, oh, no problem can be solved by flying in your cockpit.
Oh,
like,
bullshit. What? Oh, really?
God damn. Well, I mean, then again, you can't separate Goldblum from anything other than Dr. Malcolm.
It's true. He says it was. They changed it. He's talking about the song in Latin. They changed it to say where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense. From originally, it was where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. Wow, then.
That's fucking
Okay,
weird.
so it's Mr. Blonde.
Yeah.
Ray is no one. And then that was the worst movie of the year last year for me. I don't blame you. Considering that, I mean, just the plot inconsistencies. I mean, the fact that Jurassic World Dominion or Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. Dominion, Fallen Kingdom.
Same movie. Although, you know what? I think what really lost me, aside from that, was the whole locusts thing. Like the mutated, like flying bugs. Like what the fuck happened to Jurassic Park? Like, imagine this. Imagine you go from the first Jurassic Park to Jurassic World Dominion, and like, what is going on here? Like, who are these characters, and what is the thing with the bugs? Like, they tried to turn it into a disaster movie, and in all fairness, Jurassic Park was a disaster-ish movie. It had its disaster elements, but
it was a survivor movie. It was a survival adventure-esque movie at its core. But even with Dominion, it became like a really bad action movie too, because all these characters are like fucking invincible in the movie. It is some of the worst plot armor you will ever see. Like,
even for
with
like
all these dinosaurs, yeah, like so many people surviving, and like even when the dinosaurs attack, it's like you never get the sense they're in any real danger. They crash a plane. Just walk away. Just walk away. Just walk away.
And it really pisses me off though, because in that movie, there's an actress in there that I really like because in my comic, I'm basing my character's face partially off of her. I saw her in the show Altered Carbon. The actress's name is Daishin Lockman. She's Nepalese. She was the blonde with the glasses when they were like in the desert section.
That other villain that I don't remember.
Yes. She's a really good actress. I really like her. And they fucking squandered her talent. I'm like, she's only in the movie briefly. I thought that she was going to be a character that they were just going to have a dinosaur eat. But I'm kind of glad that she wasn't, because I didn't want to see that shit anyway. But the movie was still garbage, and her character, underutilized actress and a forgettable character.
And even bringing back Dodson from the original, who has one season.
What the, like, out of all the fucking characters to bring back as the villain, nonetheless, some throw off character that the chubby guy from whatever that show was, Dodson,
Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
Newman.
Dodson, we got Dodson here. See, nobody cares.
And that's how we all felt seeing him in the movie. It's just like, so
it's like, wait, who was that guy again? Oh, he was that one guy with the glasses and the hat. Wait, why did they bring him back?
Fan service, because he's recognizable in some way. He's been memed. Blah 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 blah. That's how you cater to the modern audience.
Yeah, not to mention Newman. Not to mention Newman was doing doing 3 Goonie cosplays in the first Jurassic Park.
Yes.
You can tell.
Like clever bastard.
Oh.
Indeed.
Well, there you go, guys. We've been going for 2 hours and
2.5.
2.5. That's not really a new record per se, but I do want to thank everyone for joining. And you know what? Sorry, there is one more thing I wanted to bring up really quick, because I didn't mention this in the chat. So Chris says he's down for a watch along for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We'll be in talks about it. We'll do it. We got to do it.
Here or there, you make the call, boy. It's your movie.
It is. We'll give you the reins. You give us a time and a place, and like, hey, let's fucking go. Because I do find enjoyment in that movie. One of the reasons being that oh fuck, what's her name? I can't believe I don't remember her name.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yes, thank you. I like her. She's really cute. Although I didn't see Birds of Shit, the emancipation of one retarded Harley Quinn. But no, but I do like her. Even though I didn't like the movie, the 2011 version of The Thing, I hate that movie. Just as a quick side note, it's a shit movie, but I do like her. Her character was decent-ish, but that's maybe just because the actress. I'm like, oh, I remember her, but the movie was shit. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, definitely. Let's get together for a Scott Pilgrim watch along. I think it'd be a fun time. No alcohol required, unless you want to. Completely optional.
Don't need to.
He says Mary Elizabeth Winstead is one of my top 3 celebrity crushes. Hey, I don't blame you. But anyway, my God, just a quick summary. So Rey is coming back.
Fuck her.
Surprise to almost no one. I mean, did we really think that she would come back? I mean, after the nightmare that was a sequel trilogy, after Mandalorian, they confirmed, even through the mouth of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, the supposed saviors for Star Wars. It's like, oh yeah, this is all connecting to the sequel trilogy. Oh, you mean that trilogy that basically split the entire fan base and now has a dying franchise in your hands? Sure. Okay. More Disney remakes and more hypocrisy with Lilo and Stitch. Utterly hilarious because of the tokenization thing. It's like, oh, well, now you're not Hawaiian enough because you're not dark enough. Racism. Hey, you've become the very thing you swore to destroy. Kenobi.
Yeah.
Bud Light. If you weren't drinking it before, well, now you have an even better reason to never drink it at all.
Yep.
It's a crappy beer.
But isn't there any hope at the end of this shit? Isn't there like a light of hope at the end of this shit tunnel?
Not for Disney. I mean,
in general. I meant in general.
I mean,
but
if it ends with Disney, here's the thing: if Disney, which this will never happen, by the way, but if Disney were to come out and apologize for all the ridicule they've given fans over the past 10 years almost now? It's been almost 10 years. Crazy.
Yikes.
So it's been about 8 years. Over the past 8 years, for all the racism claims, the sexism claims, all the phobias and bullshit. If they came out and apologized to Gina Carano, they say we were wrong for firing you, then I would say, okay, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
A sincere,
but they
fully sincere, not a half-assed apology. Like, hey, sorry, man. Like, no, like, get on your fucking knees and kiss her goddamn feet.
They won't
apology.
They won't apologize. No. I don't expect them to. But if they did, then I would say, okay, I'm never going to forget what you did. But let's see what you got. Mm-hmm. Let's see what you got.
But
so
the ray of light at the end of this shit tunnel in general.
I mean, yeah, you can always have hope. I mean, there's always good entertainment that's out there. The entertainment is out there, right? That's what we always say. There's a good reason because you have different content creators like Eric July coming out with the Ripperverse. You have some more indie horror films. A24 is doing a decent job with some of their horror films. X, Black Phone. So some of those are pretty good. The Witch, oh yeah, that was pretty good. Of course, Anya Taylor-Joy, right? Even though we had a weird ending, just a quick side note, it was kind of weird. But anyway, sorry.
That was a happy ending.
Oh yeah, yeah. But anyway, so as far as content we have coming up next week, we're going to be on. First we're going to be doing the conclusion to the Conjuring universe until The Nun 2 and Conjuring 4 comes out. Carter, bless your heart.
Yes, and after that, I will announce a very special franchise we will be diving into next after that.
Which also, we already know, though, because which is before. Scary Movie.
Yeah, and the first three. The first 3, 4, and 5.
And we'll feature our good friend, Mr. Chris Snyder. Hopefully be able to join us for it. We got to have you on, brother. You like Scary Movie? Carter loves Scary Movie. I've seen Scary Movie once.
And I quite like it as well.
And also,
it's a really funny movie.
Okay. Also, I would like to clarify what's coming up. Wednesday, the 19th. Danner, you're gonna like this one. The 19th of this month, or next week, next Wednesday. It's the 30th anniversary special of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Once and Always. And and don't forget, okay, I think Caleb, I think you and I need to do something. We need to do two things on Thursday, the 21st.
What's that?
Or the 20th. We need to
420.
Conjuring. I just remembered 420. Not to mention, we're doing The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, the final installment of the Conjuring franchise. That, and of course, seeing Evil Dead Rises.
Oh yeah, Evil Dead Rise comes out next week too.
It comes out on Thursday. And for any of you OG Star Wars fans, guess what comes out on the 28th of the week after next? 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. In theaters.
Well, I mean that's a good thing, but that's going to be giving Disney money. So I think I'll just sit here at home with my home entertainment system and enjoy.
Agreed.
But that's a safe bet to do. Also, next week, next Saturday, so 1 week from today, we will be on J-Man's channel watching Terminator 1 and 2. So that's going to be fun. He's invited us on to do that. And you know me. I mean, you know us. We're really big Terminator fans. And of course, also don't forget that we have the second installment in the Critique of Terminator Dark Fate review series coming out right around the corner. I don't have an exact date yet. I'm still doing a lot of the editing. There's stuff I still have to do with it, but I wanted to thank everyone who has been watching and supporting. It's got over 200 views now. So there's definitely some good stuff coming from that, and I really appreciate the love. The truth of the matter is I hate Dark Fate, and we did a watch along for it here too, so you can check that out because that was the fun time. And part of me wishes I did have alcohol because that movie. But that's why we're doing the review series. We're doing the review series. We're breaking the shit down, and people have really been enjoying it. So, fair warning though, this second episode is going to be longer than the first. I don't know how long yet, as I'm still editing the video, but it's pretty long. So you'll definitely want to grab some food, drinks, and sit back for a while and relax. But I promise you, it is worth it.
Hey, isn't there something else we're doing?
Oh,
Friday? Next Friday, you said?
We will announce it as we get closer to that date.
Hang on.
Okay.
It'll be something nice. I promise you guys.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I kind of already said it last night, but okay.
Fuck it. Let's announce it then, shall we? Okay. So, for any fans of John Carpenter, there's a very special date next Friday. That special date being the 21st of April. Basically, we are going to be doing a watch along for The Fog in celebration of April 21st and celebrating the birthday of Antonio Bay, California. So we will be there. We will have a great time watching that movie. It's been a while. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I remember the 21st of April. So we got together and we're like, hey guys, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do a watch along of it.
Also,
so that's what we're gonna do.
Yep. I would like to add also thank you to our 130 subscribers and our 20th episode. And also, I would like to make a bet with everyone that's watching. So get everyone to get us to 200 subscribers. Scratch that. Get us to 200 get us to 200 subscribers, and I will do the one chip challenge. I will do the one chip challenge just to get more subscribers. I'll fucking do it.
Huh?
I'll do the one chip challenge just to get us more views. Get us more views. I'll fucking do it.
What the hell is the one chip challenge?
It involves the world's most hottest tortilla chip in history. Carolina Reaper and Scorpion Peppers. I will do it. Get us to 200. I'll fucking do it for y'all. To get more entertainment value. I will do it.
Okay.
I will fucking do it. I will not pussy out. I swear I will do it.
Okay, but you said it on record, and you touched your heart, so
And raise
You
my
just
right
said-
hand.
You also have like 4 witnesses, half of us being on screen right now, and the other half in the chat.
Yeah, and I will do it. Get us up to 200. I will fucking do it.
Well, you know to me, I always say an alternative version because me personally, I cringe whenever I hear subscribe to this channel for more content like this. It's just a personal thing. I'm not knocking anybody else that does it, but you know me, I always say stay tuned. If you guys feel that this channel is worth your time and investment, then you will do what you have to do, and that's why I always say stay tuned. And of course, you know, our catchphrase, but. A special thank you to our Patreon supporters, Mother Mulder and Kyle Curtis Flett. You are all wonderful people. We appreciate your support. A thank you to our 130 subscribers for supporting the channel. And thank you to all the viewers, especially a big shout out for the people that stuck around to watch the Terminator review. Of course, it's going to be a long haul project, but I put a lot of time in it, and it was something that was really on my heart because you asked J-Man, and shout out to J-Man from Backtrack Cinema. We talk about Terminator all the fucking time. And, you know, after watching Dark Fate, I was like, you know what? I got to do a fucking review on this movie. But I didn't want it to be just a short, like 5, 10 minute, 20-minute review. I wanted to really boil things down, go sort of scene by scene, and just, you know, kind of point out the things that I either like or dislike. Because the thing is, there are some good parts in Dark Fate. It's just the problem is that the movie is just dog shit. It's dog shit for the franchise. It's dog shit for the story, the plot. It does a disservice to Sarah Connor and the Terminator. Fucking draperies.
Fuck draperies.
We'll get to that in the review. But make sure you guys do stay tuned for episode 2 because it is going to feature our first guest reviewer. I'm going to be including a review from J-Man. He was kind enough to record his thoughts on Dark Fate. And if you were there for the first video, you know that I wanted to offer up different perspectives throughout the series so that it wasn't just me raging and ranting about the movie. That give a nice little reprieve. You hear somebody else's voice and get back into the action after the fact. But I watched J-Man's review, and he did a fantastic job. So make sure you go subscribe to Backtrack Cinema. Jason does a fantastic job over there with his content. So definitely make sure you go support him and stay tuned for episode 2 or part 2 of a critique of Terminator Dark Fate. A special shout out once again to our Patreon supporters. A thank you to Kyle, Bacon, and Chris for joining into the chat tonight. It's been a pretty fun episode. It's been a long episode. So with that all being said, thank you guys very much for watching, listening, and supporting. And as always, my fellow investigators, remember that the future is not set and the entertainment is out there. I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
Special Agent Dr. Richtofen.
And until next time, fellow investigators, remember.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment.
The entertainment is out there.